Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 266 of the KBMOD podcast. It is February 19th, 2017, and I'm joined by two special gentlemen this evening. We have Katie Zen. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
Katie Zen with his best hugging face emoji impression.
Oh my
Only
god.
with a single hand. Yeah, there you go. There you
I
go.
have to like
He's hugging
make
all
my
of you.
head so much bigger than my hands.
And
Oh my
we
god.
are also joined this evening by our friend, maybe your friend, Dan, aka Hardballer. How are you doing this
Hi,
evening?
everybody. I'm wonderful.
You got a little
I've
bit of
been,
the facial hair going on there.
I did, I'm
Hardly
trying to
I
grow,
like
recognized.
it.
I'm trying to grow a beard. It's not working out. It hurts. It itches. I have a miserable time right now. But
Well,
I'm
You
gonna
have to
push
hit
forward.
that.
I gotta hit that
You gotta
wall of
cross
just
that
growth.
boundary.
yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like
once you
you're
hit that
just a
wall where
little
it
you're just a
stops
little bit
itching.
away from it. Like you gotta either
Yeah.
stick it out or you gotta shave it. Because right now you're
Yeah.
kind of in that funny spot.
hmm
But you
Hmm.
know, it
Yeah.
looks all right. You look
And
every
I think
bit
I, I
of
think I think
18.
I look a little bit older, but much more wiser.
Well,
I'm kind of like a younger.
You look like a
Yeah.
retired actor.
That doesn't. That's not a compliment. I know you meant it as a compliment, but that's not a compliment. You should tell people.
Okay.
well, so this evening, Scott and Brad are both out. I think Scott had some family stuff going on or something, and Brad was at PDX Land this weekend. So I imagine they're like packing stuff up and whatnot. But I talked to him last night, and it sounded like they were having a lot of fun. So they will be back probably next week, but just us three tonight. So you're in for a treat or not.
Wild ride.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be eventful either way. I just don't know if that's a good or bad thing yet. But so let's hop right into it. What have we been doing, gentlemen? I want to start with Katie's in, because you just have this look on your face, like like you've just got something to
no good.
say.
Oh,
He's up to no good.
I can't tell you guys how happy I am right now. So, last episode, some of you might remember we came to a revelation about food I've been eating. And it came to pass that people learned that I've never had guacamole. And that is true even now. But I have prepared something for the cast today.
Oh,
I told you guys I'd have some guacamole, and
oh
I never go
my!
back on my word. So, I've got some delicious guac
Dude,
here.
you
We're
gonna
gonna
eat
try
that?
it live. Do what now?
Wow.
You're really gonna eat that?
Absolutely.
It's like
Now
Shrek
hold on. Before we dig in, what like where is this guacamole from?
I would love to tell you, but this was prepared by someone else. They said, David, this is the guacamole,
Okay.
and these are the chips.
Okay.
So, with no expectation, I'm gonna try this.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Am I supposed to scoop
And
off
don't
like a
pussy out.
moderate?
No,
Yeah, no,
don't
definitely
pussy it out. Get it all in that chip.
Yeah, definitely get like a good portion
Oh.
there.
Okay, well, what about this?
No. You need more than that.
No,
You need a little more than
no.
that.
You gotta get
More?
it on there.
Yeah,
You
it's
gotta
not-
get
it's
that
not
Shrek's
like-
not on there.
It's not like
This?
salsa. You want to get a nice good dip.
Oh,
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
okay.
Sandwich
all right.
two chips together.
No.
Make
Go,
it- just get a nice- get a nice layer.
single chip is fine for your first taste. Single chip is fine. Don't go overboard. Oh no! Oh no! You disconnected. What is going on? I can't even. I don't think he did that on purpose. But if he did, that would
I don't
be
think-
very impressive. Just all that build up,
Yeah.
and then he disconnects
For
and
nothing.
enjoys
For nothing.
his nice handful of guacamole off stream. Oh my goodness.
Maybe he ate the guacamole so. Maybe he did eat it and was
He's
like,
overwhelmed. He was
just
overwhelmed in
overwhelmed
that
with-
moment and probably
with either
just cut his
disgust
internet
or
connection.
emotions.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't.
Holy
I'm-
shit.
I feel like I gotta We got to check on him. We got to make sure he's
gotta see if he's
okay.
all right.
Okay, well, all right. We're trying to get a hold of Katie Zen. That was that was some Illuminati level stuff.
Maybe it's, I don't know, dude. He maybe like disrespected the gods of food, and because he's never tried it and was willing to try it, but in his own privacy, they wanted him to do it.
I feel like this is either a divine moment or he is actually like he is really trolling all of us.
Or he's dead.
I mean, let's hope not. Let's hope not, because if
he did say he was prepared for someone else.
If that happened right before he tried guacamole, what a travesty that would be. Oh
yeah, but also think of the mess there would be. He'd just be covered in it.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. It would be a shame to waste all that guacamole. Well, so we
for someone who doesn't know if they had liked guacamole, he did make a lot of it with a lot of chips.
He did, yeah. He had, for our audio listeners, like he had a nice sized bowl of guacamole.
Yeah.
We'll try to get him back in here. I'm gonna briefly let's see. I'm gonna briefly try and add him back. Sorry for the technical difficulties here. Okay, we've got KD back.
Okay.
KD, were you trolling us, or was that divine intervention?
Look how happy he is. Look how happy he is.
Oh, man.
He's so happy.
KD, we can't hear you. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
We're trying here. Apologies to the audio listeners. We're trying to get KD Zen's camera back so that he can try this guacamole. I've never been more excited for anything in my life. Katie, we can't hear you. So
man conflicted with his own emotions.
Okay. Well, we'll try and make this work. We'll give it another try here. KD, are you with us?
I'm trying, dude.
Okay. Well, we saw the guacamole. So tell me, did you try the guac?
Okay, I haven't eaten it, but I'm just gonna eat it off camera this time.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Right. I have to take my word for it.
Oh, I hear that.
Oh man,
you like it?
Oh.
He doesn't like it.
Oh,
yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Now, is there something you? Do you like it? I can't tell.
It's not what I was expecting.
No, it's not. All right. I didn't like it the first time I tried it.
What?
Oh. I don't like guac. I can't stand it.
Oh, get out of here.
Wow.
Katie's in. How is it?
I mean, let me go in for another bite here. I'm gonna. Oh, I just cracked the chip. I'm gonna try.
No, see, that's the best. That's the best, because now you get double chip.
You can also just eat 2 chips, Brandon.
You can.
Have you been doing?
Look.
Oh,
it's always nice when you get to, like, serendipitously you get to have more guac on your chip, because you've got to get the chip that broke as well.
All right. You know what? It's not really that bad.
It's not that bad. It's not. No, it's fine. I like it.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna mute and eat this for a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, my week's been going great.
Okay, that's, you know what? I can respect that. That it's clear you enjoy it enough if you're gonna mute the mic and eat a little more of it. I feel like you've kind of dipped your toe in the water, and maybe now you're not gonna be able to get enough. Like, you're gonna eat that whole bowl. I can tell.
I don't think you will.
Oh, I don't know. This is a lot of guac to eat. Like, I'm fumbling through with my chip.
Do it. Put guac where it's supposed to be. Put it in the dog's bowl and leave it there.
Oh no!
Get out of here.
Like, if I think about that, then I'll confuse it with vomit. And I've got my chip here, and I'm just tooling through the guac, and
did you get
it's in pieces. What to make of this, man? Like, maybe I'm just a simple person where I want my sauce all cut and dry. Like,
Okay.
I don't know.
I feel like you know what? If you're not, if you're sort of still half and half on it, I think you have to try it with other things. Like maybe try it in a burrito or a taco or something. Because maybe you're just not a chips and guac kind of guy.
Yeah, that's true. And maybe
Okay.
maybe have to try some guac that's not homemade, or maybe get some out sometime.
I mean,
Right now,
homemade
I'll
guac
give
is
it
definitely where it's at, but I don't know. That's the thing is, I would have to be there to try it with you to tell you whether or not you're getting a representative guac experience.
I need a guac expert with me.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you do, but we'll not. You know what? When we meet in real life, we'll go find some good guacamole, and I'm gonna make you a convert.
Ooh, what a treat!
But I appreciate a good live demonstration, even with a little bit of technical hiccup there. Live guac eating on the cast.
It wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, I mean, divine intervention. I'm telling you.
It hit us. I can't describe the feeling. I mean, on top of just utter embarrassment that my internet's like this, but the second I have my chip filled with guac up to my face, I see an error has occurred on Curse. And my body just freezes.
An error has occurred indeed.
Oh man.
Shit.
All right. Well, we'll let you sit there and eat your guac for a little bit. Hardballer.
Yes.
Why don't
What's
you?
up,
What's been going on with you?
Me? Nothing. Just I've been playing just games and just relaxing. I went back to school, and I'm just trying to live life,
Okay. Very good.
in this
went back to
miserable
school.
world.
You went back to school like for this semester? You mean?
No, I just actually went back to school. Like I just decided I was bored working and sitting at home, so I just decided to go back to school.
Okay.
Finish up a degree that I
very
never
good.
really got.
Excellent. Well, that's I think that's a good decision.
Yeah.
Never too late to grab that degree.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think so.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into what we've been gaming here in a moment. Let's see. What have I been doing? Anything? Not really.
I noticed, Brandon, you tweeted out it was your first day working at Twitch 4 years ago.
Yeah. We're actually today is my 4-year anniversary at Twitch. It's a weekend today, obviously, but when I started, it wasn't a weekend.
Katie, clap for him. Clap.
Well,
mouthful of guac.
Good job, Brandon. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's been a fun ride. So 4 years, it goes by so quickly. I think I didn't know either of you 4 years ago. That's crazy,
Dude.
you know?
The first time time you met me, you almost killed me. Actually,
well,
you sent me to a League of Legends booth with a rare item and didn't tell me what it was.
That's true.
I literally got attacked by a bunch of League of Legends nerds.
Yeah, I definitely set you up a little bit. I wasn't trying to kill you, but you had a bad time.
Yeah, wasn't very fun.
Yeah, but
That's the go. I used to look at Brandon as one of my idols.
You used to? Has that changed?
I met you and realized you're not that high up. He realizes his eyes have been open.
Oh, I met you, and then I realized you're a much more higher class individual.
Okay, that's a nice save. I'll let you get by with that one. You keep eating that guac.
Oh, I will. I'll struggle. That'll have to be something for Extra Life next year. I just have to finish a whole bowl of guac.
Yeah,
stream.
It's like
I feel like now, like we can get you to do like food challenges, because I feel like we're gonna discover other things you haven't tried, and so it's not even gonna be weird food challenges. It's just gonna be regular everyday stuff, but we get to see you experience it for the first time.
You know what it's like? Brandon is the principal from the Matilda movie, and Katie's the fat kid on stage that has to eat all the cake before anybody can go home.
Wow.
That's quite an anecdote. No, I didn't do a whole lot this week, actually. Valentine's Day was this week. I don't know, did you guys do anything? I mean, I know you're both young, eligible
very
gentlemen.
alone.
Very alone.
Both of us.
Okay. Well, I was actually alone
Spent the day
too.
with my dog.
With your dog? Did you get your dog a Valentine?
No.
No?
That
That's
makes me a
pretty rude.
terrible Valentine.
Me and
I'm sorry.
me and my dog went to Taco Bell last night, and the lady food because my dog scared her.
Really?
Because she jumped.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait, did you took your dog into Taco Bell?
No, through the drive-through.
Oh, the drive-through. Okay. Okay.
My dog was in the back, and I have my car is like it's only one door, so she was just peered through the driver window and barked at her, and she dropped the food like right when she was like handing it, and it was a mess.
I mean, I guess dogs. I wonder how often dogs go through the drive-through.
I don't know. My dog. Well, Guinness is a big dog. She's a boxer, so she's kind of threatening. But even though she's like a pillow. You know, from a distance, pillows look threatening, but you know when you get up close, it's just a pillow.
She's an amazing dog.
I do have an amazing dog. Thank you.
Well,
And she also has a no fucks given attitude.
Well, that's probably why she scared the Taco Bell employee. Well, I was also I was alone on Valentine's Day because my wife was out of town, but we went to dinner last night to make up for it, which is actually like pro tip. I think that's the way to go about Valentine's Day is just go on a day that's not Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Because like no restaurants seem to take reservations on Valentine's Day. It's super packed.
Mm-hmm.
I get that everyone's in, that it's like you want to celebrate on that day because that's the thing to do, but you can celebrate Valentine's Day like that week or something, like
don't they boost prices a lot of the times for most places on Valentine's Day for things?
Well, a lot of times they'll have like prefixed menus and stuff, because they're trying to get so many people through on Valentine's Day. So
okay.
So yeah, we had a nice dinner last night at an Italian place. And it was still just as special. It was just a few days after Valentine's Day. So
that was good.
That's my recommendation to all of you couples out there. Just save yourself some stress. Go to Valentine's Day dinner on another day, and and just watch the people that can't seem to get a table on Valentine's Day. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into what we've been playing, since I feel like that's where we have more to talk about. I actually have a little bit to talk about this week, but KD, are you still neck deep in guacamole over there?
No, I was instructed by someone I live with. If they said, listen, if you end up not really digging the guacamole that much, deliver it to me.
Well, yeah, then it must be good. If someone else in your household is saying, "Hey, if you don't finish that, it's mine," then
yeah, that's what's
I feel
so
like
puzzling.
you might have the problem then.
Yeah, it's got to be me, because when I grabbed it when I was out there, he looks at me and goes, "Hey, David, I tried that guac and it was great." I'm like, "Oh, all right."
Okay,
cool.
So you have someone with guac experience telling you it's good.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to need to revisit this then.
Absolutely. Some legitimate experimentation needs to be done.
Well, if I've learned anything from KBMOD land, you can't say no to Brandon and Bob when they're pressuring you to do things.
Well, we'll definitely find some good guac for the next LAN. We'll just have that as that'll be the only thing we have as a side. We'll just have guacamole.
That's awful. That's such a torture to most of us. Though.
The fact that Hardballer doesn't like that means that's exactly what we're going to do.
It's equivalent to dog food. I can't. I don't know how any of you fucking eat it. And the worst part is like I'm trying to lose a lot of weight right now. And every workout tip I have, everybody smears fucking guacamole on everything, and they don't give an alternate for because it's natural fat.
Yeah.
So they don't give any alternate for anything, and I'm like, you fucks.
There is no replacement for guacamole. What would you give as an alternate? There is nothing.
Anything. Literally fecal matter.
Okay.
Because that's what it's equal.
Let's not get out of hand here. But there isn't really a replacement for guacamole. It's not like I feel like chocolate. Like there's a replacements for chocolate and stuff. There's replacements for sugar, but there's no real replacement for guac. There's no
Okay,
fake
so-
avocado.
I would rather eat the seed that comes out of the avocado than the fucking green shit around it.
Man,
Wow.
I didn't realize you had such strong feelings. If I had known this, I wouldn't have invited you on this episode.
No,
Yeah,
but
I
I
mean,
feel like you're
it's all
tainting an impressionable young man's
he's tried it. He
views
doesn't like
toward
it. He's
guac.
on my side. Give up.
No, it's just, I mean, I don't know. I don't really like the taste that much. Like, it doesn't really do anything for me. And then I just want something simple and pure. And guac is anything but that. I feel like,
okay, you don't have to defend yourself. What I think happens here is guacamole has been picked up by the meme community as held at the height of the existence of a side dish, right? And
Okay.
anybody that doesn't like it is non-existent on the spectrum of the guac lovers. So you can't argue this factor.
Man, I feel like
I see. Okay.
I feel like it's a pretty objective taste, though. Like, unless you're, I don't know, man. I don't run into that many people that don't like the taste of avocado.
Because they're afraid to say anything, Brandon. That's what I'm trying to say. I am standing up for the little ones that are not afraid to put their foot down and say guac is not all that hype.
You know what? Maybe they should keep their mouth shut then, because I feel like if you don't like guac, then what's next, right? What can we enjoy freely anymore?
Oh, let me tell you.
What?
Fucking
Anything.
queso.
What? Wait, what?
Okay, I
No,
think we
like-
can definitely bond around queso. But if you like queso and you don't like guac,
So,
you're missing out, because like those two things go so well together.
Oh God, I can't even imagine.
No, I don't necessarily mean like
So
together,
bad.
like you mix queso with guac. I just mean like
Kinda K
you
or
can have
C.
them both, right? And you have a chip and you grab some guac, and then chip and grab some queso. Alternate flavor profiles. Oh, it's fantastic.
when I was at LAN this year, we had tacos from the like Mexican joint down the street, and I'm not like, I'm from Philly. We don't experiment much with food. You know what I mean? So it's literally, you get a cheesesteak, you put some whiz on it, you're good. You get whiz wit. That's it. You're good. All right. And you get yourself a nice iced tea from Wawa. That's it. You're good. You're good for the day. Maybe some cheese fries. And then I went there. The Bob's like, yeah, this is Mexican food. This is a real taco. I'm like, so where's the Taco Bell sauce? And then Bob's like, no, that's not a thing. And then I got this white stuff, and Bob's like, it's sour cream. I've never had sour cream before in my life.
What?
Now I know this is I knew it. Now it was like,
Hey, me neither, man.
I've never had it. I've always only seen it on pictures of like a potato, basically. And I always thought that's disgusting. Who wants to put whipped cream on a potato? And then I found out it was sour cream. But I don't like the taste of sour cream either. But I do like it on authentic Mexican tacos. I think it's nice, but not too much. Like a little splits.
I don't know what to say. Neither of you have had sour cream?
No,
No.
I've not.
Well, I have now. I've tried it, and I like it only on tacos. But I don't like it. Like everyone has it with Lay's chips and stuff like that, and I think that. Stop it!
I think about sour cream and like cream cheese. It's just nothing for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. Yeah.
Well,
It
hold on now.
doesn't- it
Cream
doesn't-
cheese is different from sour cream.
No,
That's
well,
not-
no. You said cream cheese. No, cream cheese is good on a bagel.
cream cheese is fine, but that's a very different product than sour cream. But like here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to do. You need to get a baked potato, right? You have butter in it. You put cheese in it, sour cream, and then if you want to, you can even put meat or bacon bits or something like that. But the core, the very core of a good baked potato is butter, cheese, and sour cream. Right?
See, I'm good with you with the butter and the cheese.
Oh yeah,
But
and the
I
bacon
can't do
bits.
and the bacon bits. Sour cream. It gives such a it's like a non-flavor to me, if that makes sense.
It doesn't make
kinda-
sense. It 100% doesn't make sense.
It's literally just creamy salt. That's all it is to me.
I mean, salt
That's all
is
it
good.
tastes like.
Creamy salt sounds fine, actually.
Creamy salt sounds fine. Your palate is just a
Well,
fucking.
salt really.
It's just a mess.
Oh man.
Mm.
All
You
right,
know-
KD, this is the next thing then. If you've not tried sour cream, then that's our next taste test.
Oh, I've got to have it with a baked potato then.
Yeah, you've done.
No,
Yeah,
you gotta
you
have
don't
it with
just.
a taco.
Yeah, you don't
man.
just. Well, you sure a taco,
Tacos.
anything like. But yeah, you don't just
Mm.
have sour cream on its own. You would have sour cream in a dish of some sort.
Tell you what, next week before the podcast, I'm going to take a little stop at Wendy's on my way home. I'm going to pick up a baked potato with
No,
some
this
sour
is
cream.
not a
No, you
Wendy's
have to do
baked
it
potato.
yourself. You have to do it yourself, Katie.
We can't, I'm not.
It's time.
I'm
It's
not
time
gonna.
to learn how to cook.
I'm not gonna put the fate of your enjoyment of sour cream in the hands of Wendy's fast food chain.
Well,
You have to go get a baked potato. You have to go get a nice potato, cut it in half. Don't put sour cream on it. Put some cheese. Scoop out the middle bit first, because I always do that. Bake
you know how
the.
to make a baked potato.
I'm trying to teach you.
You can.
already
You
know
can.
how.
You can make. You could make a baked potato pretty easily at home, or get one from. Just like don't get. All I'm saying is
Don't
like
get
don't
a
get one
Wendy's
from
one.
Wendy's.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying they're bad. I'm just saying your first
For your
experience.
first one. Yeah.
Like don't give it to Wendy's.
Oh.
Give it to some. Give it
Okay.
to like a proper baked potato establishment.
No, the thing is, this is not my first time having a baked potato. I've had countless baked potatoes. If I'm getting it for the sour cream, it's not like Wendy's is going to have some subpar troglodyte sour cream.
You don't.
that
But you
will
don't know
just
that.
ruin
You don't
the
know
food.
that. You don't know
Well,
what the
yeah,
quality
you're
of their
right,
sour
that's true.
cream is. So that's why I'm saying don't risk it. If you know where to get a good baked potato, trust that place.
Okay. You get a good baked potato from Wendy's.
You know what? You can find a better baked potato than Wendy's. I know you can. You live in a metropolitan
Alright,
area. I know there's a better baked potato than Wendy's somewhere within 20 miles of you.
All right, I'll do some research. I'll see you.
Okay.
Oh God,
Got a lot
what
of
have we been
food right now.
playing? Please.
Katie, you want to go first? Go ahead.
Go
Oh,
ahead,
well.
Hardballer.
I've been playing Rainbow Six Siege
Okay.
a lot. Like actually, it's like literally the only thing I've been playing. And I also resubbed to WoW today because I want to level my hunter.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's dig into that. What way did you resub to WoW?
I have friends that have been playing from 1 to they're leveling the game, and I want to just play with them. But at the same time, I was watching some streamers and stuff like that, and I was watching hunters preferably, and I have a level 100 hunter that I leveled way back, and I loved it, and I want to kind of get in there and get it to 110 and maybe start doing some LFRs, some ratings.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I actually just canceled my WoW subscription
Yeah.
the other day because I haven't been playing that much.
Yeah.
But it has more to do with it's not so much that there's a lack of content. It's just I don't have that many people to play with. Like I play pretty late night Pacific time, and like a lot of my real life friends either play at different times or they've kind of dropped off of WoW. So I was like I thought it would hold me longer than it has, but I'm not playing it that much, so I decided to cancel my sub.
Yeah, I think you're in that weird spot of an MMO though, Brandon. You're in that spot where it's like you've done most of the content, and the only thing now to do is either. And I noticed you were playing it really hardcore back then, or not really hardcore, but that was your main game. So you've probably leveled it, and the only thing now for you to do is either level another tune or just farm for rare things.
Right. Yeah.
Where,
And that's
I
sort
think
of
it's got to be more.
that's the kind of that's the problem I feel like with current WoW is I feel like leveling up an alt and then gearing out an alt takes a while because you have the whole artifact power system, and so doing an alt like it's honestly just kind of a grind once you get to 110. Like we lost KD again. So I don't know. It's just I don't really want to put the time into leveling an alt, and so like I'm in that weird spot of my gear is just good enough to do some of the raids and some of that stuff, but unless I want to do grinding on mythic pluses or like grinding raids, I can't really do a whole lot of world quest stuff anymore. So that's kind of what that I like playing solo late at night, and the world quests make that fun, but like the world quests are getting to the point where there's no upgrades I can get from world quests.
That's kind of like we were all playing Diablo a while back, like at least last month, and that's where I kind of got like I love Diablo, but it's that kind of you get into that kind of funk where it's like, I'm doing this repetitively. I've hit a wall of where the loot drop and that, you know, that little thing that keeps you playing is happening so slow now.
Yeah.
Where, and I think right now, because I've played Legion. I played actually when you were playing, I think, but you were way ahead of me. Like you were doing all that shit. And I was just leveling, and I leveled a Demon Hunter. But I didn't level any of my other. And I love leveling WoW. Well, now I do. I hate fucking like 1 to 50. That can suck dick and die.
Yeah.
I think that's literally the most. I'm like.
I don't know that I would want to do the 1 to like the 1 to 90 grind a whole bunch anymore.
Oh. No, dude. Back like when it was Mr. Pandara's 1 to 90 was fucking
Yeah.
No more of that. Like that million experience shit.
Yeah.
But I think the 100 to 110 leveling, and especially with Legion, because Legion's actually pretty good content wise. I think it's fun. And I like leveling MMOs. Yeah. I usually fall off during endgame because I'm more like less like I'm not 100%. I'm not an MMO at all. I'm more of an FPS shooter. So when it comes to now, I don't know what to do or I don't have a linear path kind of design. It's hard for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I like being told where to go, what to do, but having that open world choice as well at the same time, where I don't have to go do that or I don't have to do that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, and WoW, the current expansion actually, I think does a good job of that because all of the areas, for anyone who hasn't played current Legion, the Legion expansion of WoW, you don't have to go in a specific order. Whereas before, in the previous expansions, different zones had different level monsters, and so there were certain zones you just couldn't go to until you had leveled up enough to be able to, you know, not get one-shotted by those monsters. In Legion, all of the mobs in all the different areas, they scale to your level. So if you're level 100, then all the mobs around you are around level 100. But if you're level 110, the mobs are all level 110. So it's nice because you don't have to go in a specific order, and you can sort of just, if you don't like one of the zones you're in, or you kind of get stuck on a quest that you don't really want to do, you can basically go to a new zone and like start all the quest chapters in that zone, and everything is already at your level. So I think that's pretty neat, and is like one of the really smart things they did with this expansion.
Yeah. Because it doesn't. Because like when most MMOs say they're open world, they're really not open world in a sense. In a sense they are, but like for leveling wise, like you can't go to a certain level, a certain part of the world if you're this level, or if you have this part of gear on or stuff like that, because you'll just get destroyed by the mobs. Like the way the WoW is doing it, I think is a very smart way of like, go where you want, do what you want, but make sure you have to go back to that. Like for I think world questing is a big thing to gear up like at the start. And you have to complete the quests in the least the story quests in that zone.
Right.
So it's like, go where you want to go, but you're just putting it off the bad zone for the good zone.
Yeah, you kind of got to finish a lot of it eventually if you want to do some of the more end game stuff and get better gear. But you can do it kind of at your own pace and come back to things later.
Yeah, that you were struggling on, and then now you're more powerful. Kind of
Well, cool. I'll be interested to hear how you like WoW once you level up and hit 110 and start to kind of be working on gear.
Well, I did that with the DK, and that's where I kind of like I hit your wall, like the wall you did just now. But obviously you spent more time in it than I did, and because you know what you're doing in an MMO. I kind of still need someone to hold my hand a bit because I'm not really good at it, but I'm to a point where I understand it's a game that I need to be decent at it. Like I'm nowhere near I can run a mythic raid. I don't understand any of that shit. And watching videos on them dudes that do mythic raiding and stuff like that, it's fucking amazing how like coordinated them guys are.
Yeah.
I could never do it.
That's the thing. I don't really have like the time or the time to dedicate to doing that, or finding a group to do that with. So I'm actually sort of in that same boat that it's not that I don't have the competence to do a raid like that. It's more just it takes a lot of time investment, because you have to practice. You got to like know the fights, and then you've got to find a group to do the fights with. So it's less about your personal ability within the raid, and more about spending time learning it and like finding a group to go with and all that. So that's sort of why I fell off. Is like I just don't want to. I don't want to invest that much time in a game these days.
Mine was to the point where it's like my DK is I don't know the eye levels, so I can't really say. I can't remember. But it's to the point where it's like now I have to do harder raids and stuff like that. I think the dungeons and stuff like that, the plus mythic dungeons that get you better gear and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can do other more LFR, higher LFR stuff. And I was at that point, and I'm like, man, I'm having fun, but I'm not getting that, that piece of gear that hits my reward center kind of thing, and for the time I'm putting in, you know what I mean? Like you get into like a Diablo style, and I know I'm looking at it as a Diablo style.
Oh yeah, it's so different from Diablo. I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you come in with expectations from a game like Diablo, WoW will probably feel pretty slow when it comes to the rate at which you replace your gear.
At the same time, it's like if I like MMOs, I think I did Black Desert Online for a while. Like the way they did their grinding system was pretty good because it's like a Diablo style, but it's also an MMO. It's a sandbox one. The only problem is to do anything in that game, you have to like leave the game running, and I just didn't feel comfortable with leaving the game on like doing things while I'm not here to like monitor it or see if my PC's okay with it. I just didn't feel like that.
Well, cool. So you've been playing WoW a little bit, resubbed to WoW. Anything else going on?
I've been playing the Rainbow Six update, and I fell in love with that game. I bought Rainbow Six on the winter sale, so I'm not an OG. I played in the betas and the alphas, and it's a Ubisoft game, so I have a rule of thumb with Ubisoft games where it's wait at least a year to buy the games. Because
not a bad rule.
It's because I don't think I've ever seen, and I don't know, maybe I could be wrong, but I played the Division at launch. I played almost all the Tom Clancy's at launch. None of them work. None of them work at all.
Yeah, Ubisoft does not have a great reputation for launch, like strong products at launch. I would say a year is pretty safe to dive into some of their games if you want a polished product.
I'm really sad that they waited so long to fix the Division, because I've recently played the Division and I put around, I want to say 70 hours into it. And it's actually fun now, the way they have the game working.
Yeah.
And I like the Division very much. Like, I think the content they're doing and pushing is very good.
I thought it was a good game. I enjoyed my time with it, but I fell off of it.
Yeah, I fell off of it too. Recently I fell off of it because it's a grind. It's a paywall, not a paywall. It's a gear wall that you hit, and you know what I mean. So you're not getting that update and stuff like that better gear. But I played Rainbow Six. I bought it in winter, and I bought the season 1 pass. Was it winter? It was like winter of last year, and I got the season 1 pass. It was like $30. I never played it. I played it a little bit, didn't like it, but I got really tired of Counter-Strike a couple months ago. Just like the cheaters, and there's like not been that many updates, and like, did you know it's been a year since the last CS:GO operation?
I mean, that doesn't surprise me that much, though. I feel like CS:GO operates on a timeline of years and not weeks or months.
I'm just like, I'm fed up with like, and I'm probably gonna get shit for saying it, but it's a lot of the times the devs don't care about the game as much as people say they do, and they kind of just see it as more at this point. It's controlling itself. It's a cash grab. Maybe once every 3 months we'll throw on a vac wave just to satisfy people on Reddit. But
I think if we're getting to how much of an influential company that Valve is, okay, you need to treat them with respect.
I always the argument I always hear when I complain about CS is, oh, people at Valve can pick what game they work on. So I'm like, okay, that's a bad idea to do. They should literally say, hey, this is a game that a lot of people are playing. We can maybe bug fix a little bit if you guys want to. A lot of people are playing it, and then some guys just like add skins, and then they're like, good idea, man, we'll do that. So I mean, I can't argue that game enough. I'll still jump on. I jumped on the other day. I was like, maybe it's not as bad as I thought. I jumped on the other day. I got a spin botter. So I mean, GG. So then, like, that's why I kind of think Rainbow Six right now is good for me, because it's scratching that itch of the competitive scene for me.
Okay.
It's a game like I've been comparing it to the gunplay of Call of Duty, like the older Call of Duties, mixed with the competitive scene of CS. Obviously, it's not as big as CS or nearly as going to be as big as Call of Duty. Yeah. But if you want a first-person shooter that is competitive and has a high skill ceiling, I think Rainbow Six is 100% a good investment.
Okay.
And yeah,
I've been I've heard a lot of positive things about it. Scott actually mentioned that he's been playing that some recently, and I've liked that they seem to be supporting that game from kind of an esports perspective, from a content perspective, which is nice because I feel like once you have a game that the community does kind of get involved in, you wanna turn it into something that can last years, and it kind of seems like Rainbow Six Siege might have that longevity. If they keep supporting it the way they're doing now. So it, hopefully that game sticks around. And I haven't picked it up yet, but if it goes on sale, I think I'll probably grab it at some point.
Yeah, I think not if you're coming from a call like a CS:GO burnout, and you still need that game that that's what I'm calling. I'm saying it's a CS:GO burnout. If you're not playing CS:GO and you're still in love with CS:GO, I'm not going to say, hey, come play this game because it's better than CS:GO or anything like that. I'm saying if you're tired of the bullshit of CS:GO, like I think I found maybe like one cheater the other night. And I still don't think he was a cheater, but he could have been, you know what I mean? It was like one of them situations where instead of like CS:GO, it's like literally some dude spamming the chat with aim.com/gov or whatever. And you're dealing with that shit constantly, and then like I think Rainbow Six is a good fill for you.
Okay, cool. You been playing anything else? Is that it?
I bought Uno, but then I didn't like it because no one was playing with me.
All right, good talk.
Uno.
KB.
A weird ass game.
Classic
game. Have you been playing anything?
I just want to talk about how bullshit Uno is.
Oh, dude, it's fucking bad.
That game is made to where it can last for hours.
Hours. I was in a game that literally lasted 3 hours.
Oh my god.
Literally 3 hours. I was the only one that sticked around. Everyone else was leaving.
That game is literally sitting around picking cards until you're blessed with RNG.
Brandon, no lie. It literally gives you like certain cards that will like switch your hands with each other. So if you get a good hand, someone else can just fuck it up.
I mean, I don't know that Uno has ever been like the bastion of skill when it comes to card games.
I don't know.
All right. So this week, let me think. I haven't played too much. I finished Drakengard 3. I was talking about the 4.8 out of 10 from IGN.
Yeah.
That I was going on about last week. And I will forever be puzzled about that review because I really enjoyed that game. Like things really picked up after you unlocked the route for the fourth ending, which involves like grinding a lot for weapons, because you need to unlock every weapon for that ending. So like
KD.
You all right?
You cut out a little bit. You cut out a little bit. Or maybe your mic, you muted your mic or something. But continue. You were saying something about the fourth ending?
Yeah, so yeah, you don't get into the fourth ending until after you do some unnecessary stuff. But after that, the story really opens up. Things get good. And then I talked a little bit about the final boss, I'm pretty sure, where it turns from an action game into a rhythm game. And like imagine playing Guitar Hero where did I already make this kind of analogy last week?
I don't know. I don't think I recall you relating it to Guitar Hero.
Basically, take Guitar Hero, and it's a 7-minute song. There's only one note, but you need to count to yourself the measures of the song. It's kind of like a call and repeat kind of deal where, like, what am I trying to say? And like you're playing Guitar Hero, and sometimes the camera will shift away from the fretboard where you can't see what you're like hitting in the game. It's kind of weird analogy. So you need to go purely by the measures of the song to hit the right notes.
Okay.
And which it was very frustrating. I'll make that very clear. I was screaming, but it's because if you miss one note in that 7-minute song, you start the entire thing over.
That sounds like not a great experience. Maybe.
No, it doesn't. I would
Maybe
actually probably
a
punch
little
him
too
on
punishing.
Well, you wouldn't see that in any other game. Is kind of the point of it.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's kind of a dumb mechanic, to be fair.
Well, listen to the music. I mean, the Yoko Taro, the guy making these games, he loves to troll people. Like, he is the biggest troll. So, and then even more so at the very end, the song's ramping up, the tempo's faster, so it's pretty tough. And as the song is winding to a halt, the tempo slows down. You need to pay attention to the measures to hit it right. And then the final note of the song is black screen. And it's at the point where it's so slow that you don't even know what to count. And you hear one final chime that you need to time. And it's like 7 seconds later that you're supposed to hit it. But other characters start talking in a cutscene. And you're supposed to hit the note during the cutscene. If you miss it there,
what?
Game over. Start the whole song over again.
Okay, I feel like maybe I'm starting to side with IGN's take on this game based on what you're telling me.
It's just it's pretty odd, it's pretty quirky, but at the end of time, the story was fantastic in that game, and that kind of, because when you play one of this guy's games, you don't really play it for amazing gameplay. You play it for story and soundtrack and things like that. That's why Nier Automata, his next game he's making with Platinum Games, is going to be amazing, which leads me on my next thing I played. I played the Nier Automata demo for like the 5th time this week. Not this week, but I played it for the 5th time this week.
Man.
But yeah. Anyways, I could go on about that game.
I feel like you definitely go for story in games, and you're willing to forgive a lot of other things if the story is good.
That, and if it's trying something new, I'm willing to forgive some stuff. Like Drakengard 3, that game is deeply flawed. Like, there are frame rate problems. You see characters like floating above the ground and their shadow not connecting to their feet, and like constant dips to like 4 FPS. But listen, the game is one of a kind.
One of a kind, I'm pretty sure, for a reason. Because it seems kind of bad.
Oh, it's great. It's great, dude.
Is it? No, but Katie, are you saying it's one of them bad but good games?
No. It's not like where you take fun from the bad of it. It's one of those where you put up with like I put up with the bad, and when it comes to just the main game itself, like the combat, it's a very decent action game. Like, there's not really much to complain about there. Like, I can look past a lot of things. It takes a lot to really offend me in a game.
Okay.
And the game had a lot of problems, but at the end of the day, I'm just thinking, like, at the end of this experience, I thoroughly enjoyed this game. Like, I had a great time with the story, and it was well presented. The soundtrack is one of the best soundtracks I've heard in any game ever.
Sounds like it's not a perfect game, but depending on what qualities you value in a game, you would rate it more highly. Like, the things that you care about in a game, you're able to forgive some of the kind of the gameplay issues, some of the other things that may bother other people a lot more.
I think it just sounds like one of them opinion games where it's like you have to play the game to really understand the game. You can't judge it off someone else's opinion.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, if you pick this game up, it's not a game you play for if you just want to tune out and play a really good action game. It's not the first choice you should make.
No,
it's a game. That. Yeah, it's a story that is really, really going to invade your comfort zone. And it's just...
I respect that for games like that, where it's, they're coming right on saying, hey, we're not a AAA game. Our game's probably actually shit. But if it's for you, thanks for playing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think it's one of them.
And I was watching a video of the creator of this game, Yoko Taro, I like his name.
Yeah,
it's great. He was at game developers conference giving a speech. He started it by saying, not sure why you guys are here instead of watching all the great graphical presentations from the team at making The Witcher, but we're glad to have you here. This presentation is called Weird Games for Weird People. And then he starts talking about how like what he has this like backwards storytelling technique he uses for the story in his games, and how like if you're having structure with your game, do what I did and just think about God of War. Think about, how that game is set up, and then just kind of build your game around that. But you don't want to be caught for plagiarism. So you want to hit this kind of sweet spot of about 70% accuracy. That's what you want to go for. And I'm like, what? He's just going on about plagiarizing a game, and it's just like at a game developers conference. Like it was interesting, but yeah, that's why I'm just, for him to be with a competent studio, I'm really anxious to see what they can do.
Yeah.
Anyways, enough about that. One thing I forgot to bring up last week is that I finished Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
And
yeah, how
that
did you like it?
game, that game is incredible. Like before I finished it, I heard a lot of people complain about, the ending and like the final like hours of the game. And I'll agree that it kind of drags a little bit, but nothing that would really like detract from my experience. Like that was just a fantastic game. And I was really happy with how much it wasn't just going for being scary. There was a game inside of there. Like it felt like you were playing a classic Resident Evil game, like, exploring a mansion, solving puzzles. So yeah, that's definitely a Game of the Year contender for 2017 to look out for, in my opinion.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm terrified of every scary game, and I probably am worse than Scott, and I might cry if I ever play that game.
It's pretty damn scary. Like the only way I could play it, when I played it, I was in a room with about 7 other people, and we're all jumping at the same things, all reacting, all having like, if I don't think I could have played that game just sitting down, lights off, headphones on. Probably would have died. But
I can't do scary games, and I'm a big bitch.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Cool. Let's see. This week, I got back into Hearthstone a little bit. I ranked up a few ranks. I'm because I was like level 20 because the season reset more or less since the last time I had really played. I played some games of Hearthstone. The meta's kind of stale, but there is some fairly big Hearthstone news coming up that we'll talk about a little bit later. So I played a little bit of Hearthstone, and I dug into H1Z1. So we talked, I think, on a cast like several casts ago, that I wanted to get into H1Z1 a little bit because I hadn't really played it at all since the game split into 2 different games. Since it split from being originally just H1Z1 into King of the Kill, being a standalone game. So I sat down for a few hours last night and kind of got my sensitivity right, kind of got my bearings with the game, and I started hopping in, started playing a few solo games. I think the first game I played, and I've watched enough streams of it where I felt like I wasn't going in as a complete beginner. So the first game I played, I found a vehicle that someone had gotten shot, and I found their vehicle, and so I'm in the vehicle. I think it was a Jeep probably, and I see someone who I'm like kind of driving away from, but I'm like, no, I'll turn around and I'll see if I can run them over, right? Because they were kind of in an open area. So I go and I try, and I'm like, in normal speed here. Go right through him.
Right through him. Yep.
And then he kills me with his gun.
Yeah. I love it.
So that, and this is not, I feel like this is not an uncommon sentiment. Like H1Z1 has a lot of weird bugs, and things that happen improbably. But that was not a great start to my night there. But I played a couple more solo games, and then I got into one where I didn't see that many people. I only had like 1 kill, but I ended up getting into the top 10. Like I was basically just kind of staying on the outskirts, not even intentionally, but I was just like kind of moving in with the gas, and I got top 10. I think I actually got like 8th place. So I was pretty, that when I felt more of the vibe of that excitement H1Z1 can give you. But I was definitely still like not, I don't know, still getting some weird bugs, like the hit registration and all that is a little bit suspect.
Awful.
Yeah,
Literally awful.
And then I played several games with Hutch, with Brad last night. So we were playing duos, and we just didn't have really any luck at all. But I learned more about the game. I feel a little more confident about it, and for the most part I had fun. But it's definitely, I feel like it is one of those games where you've got to go in just with the goal of having some fun and not taking it too seriously, because if you do, that game absolutely will shred you, just with like a technical glitch here and there that can just ruin your experience unless you're like ready for that and you can just laugh at it. I
recently got so mad at that. This is a while ago. It was like last month or something. I was playing it, and I think it was a graphical glitch or something like that. So my car was being shot, but to me, there was no sound. There was nothing me saying that my car was being shot. So I killed the guy that was shooting at me, and didn't realize my car was not on fire. The health bar in the car was not low. The car just exploded while I was next to it and killed me. And it said died by unit or whatever. Like, it was just a number holder. And then it stuck on that screen, and then I couldn't get off the screen. And then I killed the game. And then when I launched back in, it put me back in that game, stuck on that screen, because the game didn't see me as exiting the game for some reason. Even though it closed, it ended all of its thing, but it just put me right back on that screen where I was just a corpse next to some burning tires.
Yeah, it definitely, I mean, I feel like it can only get away with some of the things it gets away with because it's like the comparison is DayZ, and you look at DayZ, and DayZ is, I think, obviously objectively in a worse state when it comes to bugginess and all that.
We're 100% different on that now.
Really?
I don't know if you've played the DayZ standalone recently.
I have not played recently. I will give that disclaimer.
Like its engine and whatever. I'm not a technical person when it comes to this stuff, so I can't really speak for it technical wise. But I mean, I've never played a DayZ game where I've gotten over 160 FPS, and now I do in DayZ standalone.
Oh, that was the other thing that I noticed that I was somewhat surprised about was H1Z1 runs terribly. I had to turn everything to low. I was like, why am I getting 40 or 50 frames a second with a 1070?
Yeah, I have a 1080.
And apparently that's just like how the game runs. So I had to turn everything on low to try and get a higher frame rate, because obviously, I want like 120 plus all the time in a game like that where you're going to be shooting a lot. But man, some of the hitching and everything in that game was definitely detracted from the experience, and I wasn't expecting that. But hopefully, I mean, I know they're continuing to improve the game, but there's definitely a lot of I think a lot of polish left that's needed on H1Z1 for me to really, really dig into it the way that I think the concept is great. There's still some pieces of the execution that I think need some work.
My whole opinion on it is it's in that CSGO pit where at this point in time the devs see it as the game's making money, people are playing our game, we don't have to rush out updates, they're still going to buy our skins, and it's at a point of, I don't know their studio. I know their studio is probably not the same size as Valve's, obviously,
no,
but
definitely not.
I think it's one of them where you get in these devs and then when you try to confront a dev about a bug, or maybe like a bug on Reddit or something like that you did see, they'll play it off as like, oh, that happens once in a while, like especially with the hit reg stuff in that game where they have turtle bullets that literally are the slowest things in the world, and I've never seen it how it works. Like, if one game of either genre comes around and it beats that game and everything it does, that game will die so fast.
Yeah, well, that's
because
why
they don't listen to their fan base.
But I think I think they also know that. I don't think they're. I don't think they're going into work and thinking like we don't need to push
No,
these
I'm
updates.
not saying that, but I'm saying they're not pushing it as frequently. Like CS:GO is at that point where a bug will happen once in a while, but the next update, obviously, we know it's probably going to be down the road somewhere. We'll fix that once in a while bug. H1Z1 doesn't have the luxury of that, where we have these bugs happening on a hourly basis, and we're still going to push them off to maybe a massive update a week later, or like that should be a patch fix. That should be a hot fix or something like that. Maybe I'm speaking just completely out of my ass because I don't know what it's like to be a game dev, but I think to keep your game alive, you kind of want to keep your community happy in a way. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard to say because I feel like if the fixes were easy, they would have already done them. It's hard to know, how difficult their engine is to work with. Maybe they have a lot of technical debt because of decisions they made before in the game's life cycle.
Yeah, that's why I'm not.
So it is hard to say. I mean, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're not just leaving things in a state, because they watch streams and stuff too, right? Like, I don't think that they're blind to the issues with their game, but I do think you're right that they do have a lot of issues to fix. Whereas a game like Counter-Strike is a very polished game. And
that's what I'm saying.
I think
bug pops up.
Sometimes people will get onto CS about not making enough changes or not responding quickly enough, but the actual core experience of CS:GO is a very polished one. The game itself, the aiming, and all of that feels, very crisp. H1Z1 is like the opposite of that. It sort of feels like you're firing into peanut butter. It's not a great experience, especially when you feel like you should have killed someone and you didn't.
But that's why I say it's like that's the CS:GO mindset, where it's like people look at CS:GO and say, hey, this game has problems, but they also don't look at how polished it is and how where the state of the game came from and how it is now. Everyone sees, like, when you mention CS:GO, you're like skins. That's all you hear. You never hear about the core mechanics of the game or how many updates it's taken to get to that stage. Where I think a lot of these new shooters coming out are like, all we need to do is we need to add skins to our game, and no one cares about the mechanics of our game, so we can take our time and fix these bugs, and no one will bitch about them. I feel.
Our baller. Speaking of taking time to fix bugs.
Yeah.
Team Fortress 2. God, that was just the best segue.
That was a good segue.
Team Fortress 2 just patched a decade-old bug. I thought this was pretty interesting. We're gonna hopping into the news, obviously. Team Fortress 2. So there has been this bug with Team Fortress 2 hitboxes that just got, I don't know if it just got discovered, but it just got fixed. And sort of provides some validation to, apparently this has been hitboxes in TF2 have been a complaint from people at various times for a while. They just fixed this issue with Team Fortress 2 hitboxes, which seems pretty bad, like the issue itself. There was pretty much no way to fix it on your side. It had to do with picking classes and changing your class. The hitboxes would get stuck for a different class. It's the technical details are kind of interesting. But they finally fixed this bug, and it has been in the game since it launched in 2007. So
that's so bad. I'm literally watching this soldier run around, and his hitbox is literally behind him.
Yeah. So even I feel like even games that feel polished still have these little things that stick around and can be really tough to find. But TF2, I think most people would say, is a pretty polished game. It's been out for a decade, but sometimes those sorts of bugs are hard to find. So I don't know how relevant TF2 is in this day and age, but it's still an interesting look at things can still fly under the radar even with a game as popular as TF2. So,
but I think we're putting 2 and 2 here together, though. If you're looking about the games we were talking about, is CS:GO's bugs and their legendary bugs, and they're kind of who's the middleman here? It's Valve at the same time taking their either taking their time, or is it a bug that is very hard to fix. Like, if it's a shooter, don't you think the hitbox thing would be the first thing they look at?
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. It's just not. I feel like it's not always that simple to find this. To find the bug, and because Valve doesn't necessarily have teams and teams of people, or teams and teams of QA analysts going through all this stuff for a game that released a decade ago. All you're going to have is people that feel like there's a bug, but they don't know. People might make a post on Reddit and say, I think this is happening, but ultimately they don't have the source code to the game, so they don't know. But I'm sure for some of them, this is vindication that there was something wrong this whole time. And it kind of sucks that a bug can last that long in a game. But I feel like it's just a testament to how difficult it is to find some bugs like this. And even when you have talented people looking at it, people still miss things. So Team Fortress 2, that bug is now fixed. To their credit, I guess the upside here is they're still patching Team Fortress 2 a decade after its launch.
I agree.
So that is a good thing.
Yeah.
They're not just leaving it broken like I think a lot of other studios would. So credit to them for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you still play TF2, TF2 is a slightly better game than it was about a week ago.
And don't they have matchmaking now, or like a ranking system?
Yeah, I believe so. I have not spent much time with TF2 in quite a while. But yeah, I know there's a lot of stuff in the game now. I'm not. It's sort of on the decline. It's definitely not the flavor of the month anymore.
It just needs that boost to get itself back, though. Maybe a nice content patch or something like that.
Now that bug is fixed, I feel like anything's possible. The sky's the limit.
Or TF3.
This wall that's been holding the game back is gone.
To be fair, CSGO had, I think, the same issue from reading this article about, I think it's a year ago now, where they fixed all the hitboxes. And the ladder hitbox as well, when they did that patch.
Yeah. Well,
maybe that woke them up to maybe say, hey, maybe we should check out our other games.
Maybe so. Yeah, I'm not sure. Next up,
Brandon.
What
have you been playing?
What have I been playing?
Yeah.
Didn't he say?
We talked
kind
about
of
it.
Jumped forward in time. Oh, did we?
We talked about it.
We talked about it. Where have you been?
No, I thought
Who was in that block?
Well, hold on.
We were talking
okay.
about H1Z1.
It's coming back to me. No, okay, hold on.
Well, is having me on the podcast and making you lose some brain cells?
What
Katie?
was in that guacamole, man?
I don't know, man. Hey, what's going on in KBMOD right now? What's going on the website?
Oh.
Well, we skipped over that section because I wanted my sweet segue. So I was skipping forward in time, but we can move backward very slightly. This is a pretty light week here in KBMOD. I appreciate Katie Zen calling that out. We only had one main thing that went up. We had a community submission for I believe Fake Ghost Pirate put up a totally serious review of Astroneer. So go check that out. It's just a video. There's no written component there, but a nice little totally serious review of Astroneer. So check that out.
It's a good video.
Yeah, it's a good video. So that's on the website, and we've obviously got a lot of other content, just not a ton from this week. So go check that out, kbmod.com, and we post the podcast there and everything. So lots of good stuff on the site. But now moving forward into our next news item here. This was, I thought, just an interesting little discussion topic that the FCC commissioner thinks fast broadband is a novelty. A novelty.
I think he's an old ass man. Damn.
I'm always a bit shocked when I see phrases like that being used, like novelty being used to describe internet connections. I feel like it sort of just ignores this whole industry I mean, like, we're streaming this podcast live on the internet right now. You have to have a decent internet connection to do the thing that we're doing right now.
To even watch it, like
as well. To host it, to watch it, like, you have to have a decent internet connection. And to just call this a novelty, it just seems so tone deaf to me.
I think it's from the argument of the generation difference in where, you know, like his argument is like, well, in my day we didn't even have the internet, we still made it. And ours is like, yeah, but we have the internet and we use it, so there's a difference, and we use a lot of it.
I think
we need that.
It definitely strikes me as being a little bit out of touch. It strikes me as the same kind of the same type of attitude of like people that don't take video creators on YouTube or broadcasters on Twitch as, you know, like serious professions. That they sort of they laugh and they're like, oh, you're not doing anything, right? You're just like putting up little videos or something. It strikes me as demeaning because it ignores the fact that there are people who rely on these high-speed internet connections for their livelihood, and calling it a novelty is just basically ignoring that whole section of the population. Like, there are people we don't even necessarily know what the next generation of professions and careers will be, but we're cutting it off by not investing in high-speed internet.
I kind of want to even to talk about what we were talking about earlier, Brandon. Like you're talking about jobs that we don't even know that could be in the future. Like, even your job, or most of the content creators and YouTubers didn't exist 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean,
in a way.
Right.
It existed very quickly.
It existed, but it's now becoming more and more mainstream, which that's what surprises me even more, is this is not niche stuff anymore. This is mainstream stuff. And even the funniest thing to me is that a lot of people have, say, Netflix or HBO Go or something where it actually requires a decent internet connection to even stream Netflix. And so even non-technical users are going to need a connection that's faster than a little DSL connection or a dial-up connection. Like, even older, like your grandmother, your grandfather, they might want to watch Netflix, and Netflix, especially Netflix in 4K, they might have a 4K TV. They don't know what 4K is, but you know what? When they boot up the Netflix app, if they if they have a high-speed internet connection, it's just going to look better. Right? They're not even going to know what's going on, but it's just going to look better, and it's going to be utilizing more of their connection without them even, they don't know any of the technical details. But I just, calling it a novelty, it's so frustrating, because do you think these whole sectors of the United States, all these people working in the technology industry, do you think the technology industry is a novelty? It's just, it's crazy to me.
It's really dumb to even it's 2017. It's not 2005 no more. Not where, or even I'm saying 2005 because I'm not very old, but everybody has a cell phone, everybody has a computer, everybody has a laptop, more or less, and to say that the internet nowadays to having a high bandwidth and stuff like that as a novelty is very, very, for someone for the FCC and probably sees these numbers of people using them, using the internet that way, is kind of like you're an old dude that needs to wear diapers to poo kind of thing. like I'm sorry, you should not be where you're at.
Yeah, well, I'll read the quote here. One of the quotes. This is from the FCC Commissioner Mike O'Reilly. He says, "The outcry for things like ultra-high-speed service in certain areas means longer waits for those who have no access or still rely on dial-up service, as providers rush to serve the denser and more profitable areas that seek upgrades to this level. Today, ultra-fast residential service is a novelty and good for marketing, but the tiny percentage of people using it cannot drive our policy decisions." Which I think on one hand you might say that sounds kind of reasonable, but I feel like it's setting up this false dichotomy that providers investing in high-speed internet means that people who have dial-up aren't going to get high-speed internet, which that's more of a decision on the part of the service provider. If you're still relying on dial-up service, that's because the cable provider or phone provider has chosen not to invest in bringing broadband to your area. That has nothing to do with being a novelty or not. That's because they don't think they can make money on it. And this doesn't change any of that. They're still not going to build if it's not profitable for them, which is why I feel like the FCC is pretty important, because they can step in and say no, you need to do this, right? Broadband is important.
This also sounds like it's coming from a guy that thinks internet is like a jug of water being poured into multiple glasses. That if we pour all the water in, what about these little guys that don't have the big glass? They're not going to get that much water. It seems like some guy that didn't do all of his research and just kept talking while the reporters asked him questions. Yeah. To be fair, I don't think this man has all the information on how the internet works. I'm pretty sure he thinks someone owns the internet as well. So I'm gonna this is really dumb way of thinking, and I think it's also one of them things where it's oh, it's not fair for everyone. Why should we just keep pandering to these people who just want more and more and more when no one has anything? And I think that's a little bit touchy. That's touchy-feely stuff. That's your feelings getting involved in the business, and I don't think that's there's no place for feelings in business.
Yeah, well, I think
for sure
it's interesting that he would say he would make this quote, but I feel like having higher speed internet available just means that the lower speed internet ends up becoming more affordable over time. And
yeah, I agree.
I feel like it benefits everyone when providers are competing, and speed is one of the only ways they can compete right now. And I say compete almost in scare quotes, because ISPs aren't really competing that much against each other. But I think saying that these high speed connections are a novelty is just it's ridiculous. Doesn't give me a whole lot of faith in the FCC delivering on what their mission should be, which is to do right by the consumers in America. But I guess that's nothing too new.
Yeah.
Anyway,
ignorant old men.
Yeah, politics as usual, I suppose. Next up, speaking of other, in other business news here, this is kind of a business-heavy news section. But CD Projekt Red, their market cap is now above $1.6 billion, which makes it one of Poland's biggest companies. Which I pulled this article because I thought it was interesting, just that I would not have guessed they were as big as they are. But a $1.6 billion market cap is really significant in Poland, and is actually pretty comparable to some other publishers or developers that you might think are larger. It is it's ahead of Capcom. So Capcom's market cap is a little less than $1.4 billion. So CD Projekt Red in these terms is bigger than Capcom, and is half the size of Square Enix's market cap. And I feel you look at a name like Square Enix and you don't think about, obviously they are still bigger than CD Projekt Red, but I feel a lot of people don't even know who CD Projekt is, but they're a really sizable company, making a really big impact in Poland's business market. So kind of interesting stuff. They still pale in comparison to large companies like Activision Blizzard is a $40 billion company, but still, little Polish developer, not quite so little anymore.
Yeah, for the number of employees and the amount of money they have, bye Katie, is actually pretty astonishing.
Yeah, and they haven't put out that many games either.
To be fair, dude, the Star Citizen place has double the employees and makes a little bit and is not funded at all the price of this company.
Yeah, they
haven't put out any.
they definitely are impressive in that they seem to do a lot with less. Like they don't have that many employees. They put out this
370
massive game, but I feel like they seem like a company that's got a pretty good focus on what they want to deliver. And kudos to them. Like The Witcher 3 was a good game. Had a ton of content. They've supported it really well. And so I'm sure they're only going to continue growing. The challenge for them will probably be, can they keep that focus in the future if expectations are higher and they've got to put out multiple games? Like they may struggle a bit growing into a larger company.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's just amazing that they're one of Poland's biggest companies. Like that's I don't think I would have ever guessed that if you had just told it to me, but the numbers don't lie.
From looking at like the games they've put out, they're playing it safe right now, I think. They're putting out The Witcher, and they're the company that put out The Witcher, and also Gwent, and they're trying. It looks like from the past couple years they've been sticking to Witcher-like games, and I'm kind of curious to see them maybe in the future move away from that and try like testing the waters with other things. From what I look at, it's like a lot of Witcher stuff. I think Witcher's their biggest title.
Oops, sorry.
See you later.
Yeah, no, I mean Witcher 3 is definitely their biggest title. But I think they are making more kind of more of those gambles, but like they're Gwent, like they're going into a pretty crowded market with card games. But yeah, I mean they now have it seems like they probably have a bit of the capital now to make some of those bets where before they didn't. So I'm sure we're going to see more and more from them over the next few years.
I want to clarify. When I mean like playing safe, I don't mean like it's not like I'm talking like how can I phrase this? They don't want to. They have an audience and they know what their audience likes. They don't want to completely change the genre, go at a completely different direction where they're trying to stay away from that one title to maybe not lose the audience they have already built. Does that make a little bit more sense than I said before, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. But yeah, CD Projekt Red. Turns out they're a pretty big company. Next up, in the quick hits, this Humble Freedom bundle. We've got to talk about this.
Ooh, I saw this.
This has been like so at least as of right now. You can still. Oh, it looks like you have 13 hours left for this bundle. So by the time the audio goes up, this bundle will be over. But as of the live airing, you can still get it. This Humble Freedom bundle is basically it is a ton of games. Like it's more than I honestly don't even know how many games it is. It took me a while. Yeah, it took me a while to go through all of these games and just like get the Steam keys for them and stuff. But if you pay $30 or more, you get The Witness, Stardew Valley, Day of the Tentacle Remastered, like Nuclear Throne. It's got Super Meat Boy, World of Goo, Stanley Parable, just like a ton of notable games. Yeah. And all of the proceeds, actually, like every dollar goes to either the ACLU, Medicine Sans Frontiers or Doctors Without Borders, and the International Rescue Committee. So at least when I bought it, there was no option to even give the developers money. Like all of your money goes to you choose one or all of those causes. So I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, freedom and America and Donald Trump has been a hot button issue, as it turns out. And so it's kind of cool to see Humble setting this up and to see so many game developers hopping on board, basically to take no money and just to support these organizations. So the Humble Bundle originally was going to match $300,000. They blew past that like in a matter of hours, and so far have raised $6.2 million. So pretty incredible stuff.
That's insane.
Yeah. And so I would say if you're listening to this live and you haven't picked up this bundle, I mean, the Humble Bundles are usually a really good value. This one is insane. Like, the value is just crazy, because it's only $30 minimum. So, so definitely pick that up if you haven't already.
$30 for most of these games. Like, I think Overgrowth on Steam is $30 or close to it, or $15 maybe. It's like a lot. You're saving a lot of money on a lot of these games here.
Yeah, I mean, just a couple of those top line games alone would be more than $30. So, and obviously, if you can afford more, then give more. I think I paid like $40 for mine. So, it all goes to a good cause. So check that out. You've got, like I said, 13 or so hours from when we record this cast to pick that up. Next up, we've got, so I thought this was interesting, mainly because it's just kind of mysterious. Halo Wars 2, the physical release for Halo Wars 2 was canceled in North America. And I don't know how much, I mean, frankly, I don't care that much about Halo Wars 2, but
I didn't know this at all.
But Microsoft was going to release a boxed edition of Halo Wars 2 that apparently was going to be through THQ Nordic. And so I don't know exactly how that works or how that was going to work, but they just basically decided to cancel it for North America. And it's still, like, you can still get it, I guess, on the Windows Store, which is where you buy all your games. But they didn't give any reason. Apparently the box version is still going to come out in other regions, but it's just not coming out in North America. So...
So you all have to get your European friends and your South American friends to buy it and send it to you. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, I guess if you're really jonesing for the boxed version of Halo Wars 2,
is this the collector's edition box? Are we talking about, or is this literally just a CD and art and stuff like that?
I think they were going to do both, like a standard version and an ultimate version, according to what I'm reading here. But I'm guessing there's neither one now if you're in America.
Oh, that's actually pretty crazy because, yeah. Go ahead, Katie.
It's not like Halo Wars wasn't unpopular or anything. Like,
no, and it's before they've canceled it with only like a few days until it was supposed to launch.
And I have I think a Halo a Legendary Edition box over there on my shelf. Like, they've done it for almost every Halo. Like that's a thing that a lot of people because Halo is such a known name now, and it's been through the ages that everybody does like to get that a Legendary Edition Halo box, or that is it's like the WoW collectible as well. Like, everyone loves the WoW expansion boxes, which I think this is really shocking because I thought the Halo community is more based over here than overseas. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I mean, people definitely like Halo. I think they're more willing to purchase a boxed version of Halo because there is some of that sentimentality that they've got all their. I'm sure there are people that have all their Halo boxes, on the shelf, and they want to keep that collection going. So it is very odd that they didn't give any reasoning for not doing this in North America. But you're right. Like, you're just gonna. I imagine you're gonna see these copies on eBay, and they're gonna be like $100 or $200.
For Americans only.
Just so Americans who can have that box that they want. But
someone's just gonna say, "Hey, it's just the box. I used the key." Someone's gonna be like, "Still, $1,000 right here.
I'll take it.
I'll take it. I don't care."
Oh man, yeah. But
I think this is a bad business move on their part, and not giving a maybe there is a reason behind it. Maybe we're jumping to conclusions, but I think it's a really bad business move on their end.
Well, I think my humble guess here is the only reason you would cancel it is if you don't think it's going to do well, right?
But Halo Wars, I think for the game it was, and I'm not saying it's the greatest game, I'm saying I think it actually did well because it was just another Halo game and it had a name behind it, but maybe you're right. Maybe because they think it's a sequel. Like I think it's maybe the Titanfall 2 effect, where it's like Titanfall 2, I hear, is a better game than Titanfall 1, but not many people bought Titanfall 2 because of the Titanfall 1.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
maybe
that's
maybe
true.
it's that maybe that's a problem.
It's just the thing that doesn't make sense to me is that they only canceled America. They're still going to do the physical
That's
retail
what's weird
version
to
in
me.
Europe. So it's like, I mean, when it comes to the Halo community, like, what is the difference between the United States and Europe? And I agree that I feel like the Halo community in the U.S. is pretty strong.
I mean, it's literally like it's. I don't think any character is not American or has American accent.
Yeah.
Like Sergeant Johnson from the original Halo series is the pinnacle of a sergeant in the like an American Army. Dude has like. I think it's stupid. I'm stumbling over my words. I'm so flabbergasted. I'm flustered.
Maybe
I'm like a
we'll
flustered
get
little flower right now.
maybe
They're
we'll
gonna
get
get
some more clarification over time. But in the meantime, Halo Wars 2, gonna have to go to that Windows store and get it digitally.
I don't want to do that.
That lovely place.
I mean, that's where
Dude.
that's where I get all my other games, so it's really not a problem.
Oh, the Windows store.
We've got a massive Windows Store library. I think all games comes to about 31.
Honestly, dude, that is the most terrible UI. I have such a hard time navigating around that thing. I can't do it, dude.
I wonder what the reviews for Halo Wars 2 are looking like.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. Get to
Are they
that. That new releases section. Just get ready.
Oh yeah.
But a couple more quick hits here. This one was just kind of funny. A modder, or I guess maybe a group of modders, I don't know if it was one or multiple, created a Grand Theft Auto 5 mod that mods in Lion King models. And I watched this video, and it's actually looks really well done. The models look really crisp. And so they have in this video, you can be you can be Pumbaa, and you're just like kind of running around, and you can like run into cars. Timon and Rafiki both have weapons, and so they were like you can shoot people. It looks really bizarre, but man, the modding scene around GTA 5 looks so crazy. But definitely check out that video if you haven't. That Lion King mod.
Oh, it's fantastic. Just seeing Timon with what is that?
Seeing Timon with like a semi-auto pistol in his hand that's almost as big as him. Like the models are just super well done. Really impressive. And then the last thing here that I just wanted to mention, because neither of you guys really play Hearthstone, but there are some pretty big changes coming to Hearthstone with their next year. So like they operate on years. The next one is going to be the Year of the Mammoth, and they're making a bunch of big changes. The main one that I think is interesting is they moved to having the standard and wild format, where wild is all the cards ever, and standard is only the cards is the original set plus the last 3 expansions, I think. And they have decided to move some of the classic cards from the original set into wild, which, before they weren't planning to do. The whole original set was available, but there are some original cards that are just too strong. And so they're moving out cards like Azure Drake and Sylvanas Windrunner and Ragnaros, who have been staples in the game basically since the alpha. Like these cards have just been so strong and have been auto-includes in a whole bunch of different decks. So it's kind of interesting to see, because I mentioned, playing Hearthstone right now, the meta's kind of stale. The game has been feeling a little bit stale. Like before I used to play Hearthstone almost daily, and now I'm playing like maybe once, twice a week just to kind of get my quests done. So I feel like this is maybe one step toward freshening Hearthstone up a bit. And so we'll kind of see where that goes. But I thought that was an interesting change, that they're also going to give everyone a bunch of dust so that they don't have to get rid of these cards, which they haven't done before. Before they have not, like if you dust a card, so you get rid of it and you get dust that you can use to create other cards, they're not going to force you to do that. They're just going to literally give you the dust for any of those cards you own that they're retiring. So if you have like a golden Ragnaros, you don't have to get rid of it. They're just going to give you a whole bunch of dust, which I think is pretty cool. So that does it for our news and quick hits section. Next up, the new releases. KD, take it away with oh, this one feels familiar.
Yeah, it's fresh in our minds. Halo Wars 2 comes out tomorrow. No, yes, tomorrow. In certain parts of the world, it would come out tomorrow. February 21st, Tuesday. But by going through some of these like Windows Store reviews,
I was just reading that.
It's amazing because the game already has a solid 416 ratings on the Windows Store. Crazy.
Now, some of these kind of give the vibe that people like have this game. I see like some people have early access, and people keep talking about like freezes on the campaign. But like all games on the Windows Store, you're free to leave reviews before the game even comes out. So there's some gold like this 1-star review that says, "Looking forward to playing after this 24 gigabyte download." And
wait, are they getting the average rating from the people leaving comments?
Yeah, that's you know what's amazing to me? So that guy looking forward to playing just after this 24 gig download rated it 1 star, right? Because of course, like you don't. I mean, why downloading sucks? So like 1 star, terrible. But you know the crazier thing? 4 out of 27 people found this helpful. Who are these 4 people? Who are these 4 people who found this helpful?
Fuck. What? Dumb. I am just. This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, and it's making me so frustrated that it's a thing, and that they're actually pulling an average score for the game based on these fuckheads. I just can't, dude.
Another upset 1-star review titled N64 Graphics. It is 2017 and the first one still looks better and is smoother. I'm gonna I haven't played this game, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say its graphics are probably slightly better than what you can get out of an N64. I think that seems like a safe assumption.
I would agree with you there. I love this review. Oh, I just lost it. Another 1-star review from user It's Dabbing. He title Boring AF. Boring AF and focused around 1 game mode and 1 map. FFs.
Boring
that is
AF.
Just a scathing.
That is
review.
Punishing.
If you're an aspiring developer, if there's one thing you don't want your game to be labeled as, it's boring AF.
Yeah, that's
anything AF.
Yeah, that's because the kids are just going to skim through these reviews, and that's going to be the one they focus on.
Oh yeah,
simple and to the point.
I want to. This is very frustrating.
Sound unhappy. Let's move on to the next game. So, any Berserk fans in this call right now?
What?
No. All right.
I think so.
This looks like a weeb game.
It's sort of a weeb game. Berserk and the Band of the Hawk is a new Berserk video game from Koei Tecmo, who makes a lot of weeb games, and they're such as Attack on Titan or Naruto. So if you're a big fan of Berserk and you might suffer some PTSD from seeing CG of the recent Berserk anime that was almost entirely in CG that was disgusting. So in that regard, you might want to stay away from this. But it looks pretty promising. Koei Tecmo, they know what they're doing. And I can't really remember the last time we had a proper Berserk video game come out. So this looks pretty fun. Story-wise, it's going to take place in between, looks like the Golden Age arc and the Hawk of the Millennium arc. Now, I don't know what the fuck that means, but that sounds pretty interesting to if you're a Berserk fan. But if you pre-order it now, or not even a pre-order, between now and February 28th on Steam, you can get 10% off. Bring it down to $53.99. Think of all the CS:GO skins you could buy with that saved money.
If I were reviewing this game on the Windows Store, I would give that 5 stars. Looking forward to playing, and I'm glad I got 10% off.
No, you would say 5 stars, boring AF. But you'd still write 5 stars because you're obviously a confused human being.
That's true. That would be kind of a confusing message to send in review. I will say that
we should have all of the
these screenshots here do not look like direct from gameplay screenshots. So
they look like from the anime.
I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna continue harping on these games that don't actually give real screenshots from inside of the game. Like when you hit print screen when you're playing the game, that's what I want to see on your Steam page, not these like artist renderings.
Looks like a really poorly done Street Fighter type of game.
Well,
so it looks like no.
I don't think it looks anything like Street Fighter.
The art style. I'm looking at the trailer. The art style looks like Street Fighter.
It's supposed to be like it's coming out of a manga, and it's not really a fighting game.
It should have stayed in the manga where it belongs.
Like some of the gameplay actually looks interesting. It actually if you took some of this gameplay, it doesn't look like an anime type game to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Until they get to some of the cutscenes and stuff.
Yeah. This is what I didn't see the price. They're charging $50.
Yeah, what? It's a full video game.
No,
it's a AAA title.
No, it's not.
What? Well, yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Not even out yet.
I don't believe it.
You don't know.
I'm not believing it. I can't take it.
Okay.
Fucking weeps.
Well, this next game proves that even indie developers can master this screenshot rule on Steam, while AAA companies can't even. This game is called Night in the Woods.
This looks pretty.
It's a debut game from Infinite Fall is the developer. It's kind of a artistic, vibrant, furry adventure game where you play as a little cat, and it's an adventure game, and you talk to a bunch of people and you explore around. And it looks pretty fun. Looks like it might have a good story. The synopsis: college dropout May Barsky returns home to the crumbling former mining town of Possum Springs, seeking to resume her aimless former life and reconnect with friends she left behind. But things aren't the same. Home seems different now, and her friends have grown and changed. Leaves are falling and the wind is growing colder. Strange things are happening as the light fades, and there's something in the woods.
I really, really dig this art style.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful game. And it comes out on February 21st. One of the only indie games I've covered on this segment that includes a price before the game comes out. It's going to launch at $19.99. And yeah, high hopes for this one. High hopes for any debut game from a developer starting your history in the gaming world. But the history of this new release section is over.
Oh. What? Oh.
Nice one.
That was fucking terrible, and I'd like to apologize to everybody listening right now.
I mean, look, it's swing and a miss, maybe like a foul ball. You know, you hit the ball,
I always
but
miss. My dad was never proud of me.
That was a miss where I let go of the bat as it was swinging behind me, and it landed on the umpire, breaking his nose.
I don't think it was quite. I mean, that sounds much worse than what just happened here.
You really need to powder up your hands, homie.
I was gonna say when we were looking through the new releases section on Steam, it looked like there were about 5 pages of games coming out over the next week.
Yeah,
and it is so difficult to see. Like what? Yeah, there's just so many games coming out, but it can be really difficult to tell if they're any good. Like what you should actually pay attention to. It's kind of tough.
To be fair, most of these games that say they're coming out, they're not really games. Like they're not. I'm sorry. Like some of these things don't belong on here. Like they should belong on like mini clips.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's why
that's true.
Doing this this new release section is so like I don't know if I'd say tough, but it's so interesting because there's so much stuff. Like this game Ballistic comes out on February 20th. It's a not a bad looking game, and it talks about this story about Lord Priest Cucks seizing Scrota 2. This is actual titles. And then it's a ball puzzle game. And then you see things like there's so many RPG Maker games and, Casino Noir. That's interesting, but just none of it is. Oh my god, I clicked on something, I see Big Fish Games. If you see Big Fish Games come up on the title, you've got.
Is it a fishing game? No, that's the question.
No. But yeah,
well,
it's just tough
doing the Lord's work, wading through each week and these new releases for us.
Oh my god, I may have fucked up. I found a game called Feminazi the Triggering on Upcoming. Should I mention this?
That's called My Life.
The synopsis reads: stop straight, evil white males from oppressing women and minorities and make them check their privileges. What a funny game.
How much?
What a charming, witty game.
Want the price?
No price as of yet.
Oh, good, because they're probably contemplating. Yeah.
They're trying to hit their target.
Not that I don't necessarily agree with some of the things they may be espousing in that game, but that feels maybe a little on the nose.
On the nose, in the face, in the gut.
Yeah.
Not too subtle.
Not a ton of subtlety going on in the title or in the synopsis there. Well, no. I think that is a good time for us to move to the viewer questions. If you have questions for us, you can send them in each week. Before the podcast, we send a call out on Twitter for questions, and you can tweet them to us or shoot us an email at community@kbmod.com, and we might answer your question here on the cast. First question, pretty simple, and actually I'm glad that we included this one because it relates to our conversation earlier on the cast. From Poff_33, he asks, what is the worst condiment to happen to food? Now, we've talked about, I think we've talked about condiments we like before. I don't know if we've talked about the worst condiments, because that's actually, at least for me, kind of a tough question. I like a lot of different condiments.
Yeah, we already determined your palate's kind of messed up.
I mean, look, I'm a pretty flexible guy when it comes to food. There are things that I don't necessarily prefer, but there's not a ton of stuff that I hate, like that I really won't eat.
I don't like relish. I think relish is fucking disgusting.
Relish. So is that you mean like a sweet relish, or do you just not like pickles? Like, do you not? Because there's a lot of different types of pickles.
My whole thing is I get confused about pickles. That's where my confusion comes from. I never knew a pickle was a cucumber. And I don't like science changing the taste of food. So I kind of stay away from that.
So are you opposed to the taste or opposed to the process by which it gets created?
I don't like abusing food in the way that I think more or less the process, because if a cucumber wanted to grow itself as a pickle, it would have grew itself as a pickle.
Wow, that's a pretty deep, nuanced viewpoint about relish that I did not expect.
Yep.
Okay. So when you eat a hot dog, like you just what do you normally go for?
I dot. You have to do it preferably. You dot ketchup, mustard in little dots.
Okay.
The reason I do this is there's an episode of Rugrats where they all have their hot dogs. And that's how they're prepared. And since I remember, I've always loved that episode of Rugrats. So I do my hot dogs that way.
Okay.
And if they're not done that way, I won't eat a hot dog.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's kind of endearing, but not refusing to eat a hot dog if it's not done in that exact way feels a little extreme.
If it's not done like the Rugrats eat it, I won't I won't eat it.
But why? Like, do you have a problem with just putting ketchup on one side and mustard on the other? Because
Yeah, that's what the fuck. No,
that gives you an even distribution of ketchup and mustard with each bite.
An even distribution of ketchup and mustard is dotting it individually, and then what you do is then you get a perfect mixture of ketchup and mustard on each bite. If you do it, you risk the endangerment of the hot dog and the flavor of the hot dog, because you get a taste of ketchup and mustard, and then it covers up the bread and the hot dog itself. What you need to do is you dot it. You take maybe like a spoon or something small, like a little teaspoon, like a salt spoon, and you dot ketchup, dot mustard, dot ketchup, dot mustard. That's it. There's no argument here.
So you mean
My
like on the
opinion is
sides or down the middle
No,
of
like
the hot
on
dog?
the dog. On the dog, down the middle.
Okay. All right. I mean, look, we've all got our preferences. I feel like
Mine
that's
are mostly right.
I feel like that's a little that distribution is going to be uneven. But you know what? I have not tried my hot dogs that way, so I will defer to you, as it sounds like you only eat them in the circumstance that you are able to dot in that method.
I have my hot dogs prepared perfectly.
Okay.
My dog.
Well,
And if they split open, I won't eat it.
Really? So you won't eat like a gourmet dog that like comes split in half?
No, that is sacrilege.
Really?
For one, because it's been mutilated. Like I'm not going to eat like a butterfly dog. No, I'm eating if I wanted that, I would cut it in half myself. I wouldn't have the chef slice my dog down the middle. I would do that myself. I'm not an incapable
So you
human
don't
being.
have
I would
a
like
problem with the mutilation of the hot dog. You just don't want someone else to do it for you.
Yes, I am a grown man. I can do it myself. You don't mutilate my dog unless I ask you to mutilate my dog. Oh wait, that's it. No, I mean my hot dogs, not.
That could be
not
taken
Guinness.
out of context.
Yeah, that could be taken way out of context.
I gotta say, I mean, I have no problem with a good butterfly dog, and if a chef wants to do that for me, I mean, he's just taking one step out of the process. So I'm fine with that. And you get one more spot to put like some sort of topping, right? Because you can put. I generally will do like a ketchup on one side, and I'll do mayonnaise on the other. Mustard's fine, but I usually do ketchup and mayonnaise, and then like you could do relish right down the middle of the dog in a butterfly dog.
Ew, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. Why?
Relish is great. But
I relish in your relish.
But I really like pickles and stuff. Like I like just about any type of pickle. So
yeah, you like cucumbers that have to be dipped in a bath and soaked for hours and days and even years for your enjoyment.
I mean, I'll be honest.
Monster.
I'm not that concerned about the plight of the cucumber.
You're a monster.
The plight of the cucumber.
KD, what is your worst condiment?
I mean, this is probably gonna
with the
divide a lot
caveat
of
that you
people.
have never tried sour cream and thus cannot rate sour cream from best to worst.
Oh, don't worry. Well,
You can say
I've got
guac.
an answer. No, I don't think it'd be guac. But I absolutely hate mustard.
Really?
Okay. Mustard,
Yeah,
I feel
I
like is
mean-
pretty divisive.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't mind honey mustard. Honey mustard, if done right, if it leans more towards honey than really, really bitter, spicy
Okay.
mustard.
So you don't like a sharp, like a Dijon mustard or something.
Katie's
No,
like- Katie's like, I like honey mustard, but if there's like literally no mustard in it, then I like honey mustard.
basically.
I mean, that I
No, but,
I can get on board with that. Honey mustard has a pretty different
The
taste
sweeter-
than
it's
a
like
sharp
sweeter, not a
mustard.
bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I can deal with honey mustard because the sweetness of the honey helps me to deal with like the bitterness of the mustard. Like there's a little taste you can salvage from mustard, if it's
Yeah.
not the main focus.
It can
Like
be
honey, I think
regular
that's
mustard can be overpowering. I'll agree with you there.
I think too much mustard, yes, is 100% overpowering. But I majorly like mustard. I think mustard's pretty sweet.
Yeah, but I think that's a valid worst condiment to have. I think mustard is I feel like you either really like it or really don't when it comes to a sharp mustard that has that strong mustard flavor.
Yeah. Now, if anyone says ketchup, you're actually wrong. I just want to Throw that
No.
out there.
Yeah, I mean,
think
ketchup is pretty universal. Like, I guess unless you were allergic to it or something. I don't.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get like hate for this, but do you guys think ketchup is the go-to little kids condiment? I feel
I think
it
it's
is.
I think it's a good gateway condiment.
Like I think no, because like little kids, if you're gonna give them food, right, or like chicken wings, chicken nuggets, even you say, hey, what do you want? You know, most people for pizza would say like maybe like a dipping sauce, or maybe like ranch, or like a nice Italian sauce. Italian sauce.
Don't even say ketchup with pizza.
No.
Don't even
Yes. Yeah. That's what kids will do. Like they'll say ketchup with pizza. That is yes.
No, they don't.
No.
Yes.
No, they don't. How many kids do you know that demand
like,
ketchup
on
on
my
their
hands,
pizza?
Both my hands. Every one of
You
the
don't
kids.
look. You don't know 10 kids. Okay, let's get that
I
out of the
know
way. That you don't know
10
that
kids.
many children.
I know a lot of children. It's actually sad how many children I know. But
Well, that's concerning.
every time they ask for
Not
ketchup,
dip pizza and ketchup, but who out there dips a slice of pizza in something? There's
a lot
already
of people.
so much.
What are you talking about?
No, I think
Have
no.
you never dipped your pizza?
Like pizza with ranch is really good, or I'll do
Pizza with ranch,
pizza
or-
with like garlic
Or
sauce
even
or
like
something.
garlic sauce, or what's that other? It's just the sauce of the pizza itself.
Yeah,
Like
like a marinara sauce.
Yeah, like a marinara. Are you
Yeah.
You've never
Oh,
dipped your pizza?
No, but
Dude, you
now
gotta-
You're
you-
a miss. Katie, where the fuck have you been?
You gotta
Like-
you gotta try. You gotta do pizza and ranch. Like I actually think that's.
Okay,
I
okay.
really like pizza with ranch.
No, I think about that. I can't. That is very interesting. Like, and I don't want to sound belittling, but I've just never thought about that combination before.
Well,
Now,
to be
I-
fair, pizza is good on its own. So like I can sort of understand if you haven't ventured into pizza
But
with
you never
dipping
even had a-
sauces.
Like a pizza? You never had a Pizza Hut pizza? I think they're the best pizzas to dip anything.
Oh,
You want to fight me? Come on, fight me. Fight me. I've been asking for a while.
I don't know that I
Oh
would
my
describe Pizza Hut pizza as the best of like any
No,
particular
no,
category.
No, I'm not saying it's like I'm not saying gourmet style or anything like it's better than a mom and pop shop pizza style, but I'm saying I can't eat a Pizza Hut pizza without dipping it into maybe like the Italian seasoning they have, or a marinara, because it complements that pizza so
Yeah,
well.
that's true. That's true.
And,
The pizzas are
like I haven't
consistent.
found a pizza where it really needs a compliment to itself, to where I'm like, man, I really would like a dipping sauce for this.
That's fair.
But Pizza Hut is one of them pizzas where it's like the pizza's not the best quality, but their sauce is really nice. Their sauces are really nice, so maybe I'll dip it. Like
Actually,
kind of thing
that's
where-
you know what? That's sort of true because I don't often dip my pizza in ranch, but when I like the times that I did it the most were actually pizza day in school because that pizza was not very good, but you were able to salvage it by dipping it in ranch. Like, the school pizza in ranch was really good.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think that's where it comes down to. Maybe that's where we're finding the key to all this. Like dipping sauce for pizza comes down to the quality of the pizza.
Yeah.
I think
That's
it's
fair.
even
Yeah.
in Italian. Like when I went to Italy, you don't ask for anything other than what the chef gives you, because it's an insult to an actual chef to put ketchup all over stuff, or to put mustard, or even ask for more sauce on stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you're supposed to eat what the chef prepares for you. Obviously, it doesn't apply to Pizza Hut and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like,
I think if
fucking
fast food pizza is definitely the best candidate for dipping because like those pizzas are kind of mass produced. They're not bad, but they can use a little bit of sprucing up sometimes.
I agree. Yeah.
I think about a dippable pizza. I'm thinking Domino's. Like that has the most like.
Well, the worst
structure.
quality of the pizza,
Yeah.
the better candidate for dipping. Like that's the truth.
Because you have to complement the pizza with something. You have to get the value out of the pizza as much as you can. Like Brandon's like lunch thing. Like I had the same thing with we had it's basically mozzarella sticks for lunch, but they were really shitty because the cheese wouldn't be always melted inside, but the marinara sauce that you got with them was really sweet. I think that's what, like, most mozzarella sticks don't actually have that much flavor to them because they're just bread and cheese inside of each other. That's why they give you marinara sauce with them. Boom, we just cracked the fucking net code.
The last pizza I got was actually from Pizza Hut, and
Yeah.
I decided to go fucking crazy
They
with
are
what I
way
got on my
overpriced,
pizza.
by the way.
They really are.
They are. No, dude, they're garlic fucking things though. Dude,
Oh,
any
yeah.
day of my
Yeah.
life. I would rub them all over my body. The fucking little garlic knots. Oh, they're so nice.
Okay, no, but listen. This is what I got for my last pizza, and I want your opinion on this.
Mm-hmm.
Alfredo sauce, chicken, onions, pretzel bread.
I feel like you're
Okay.
you're going a little exotic for me when it comes to Pizza Hut.
You're almost to like pineapples on your pizza level of weird.
There's nothing wrong with pineapples on your pizza. And I'm
You're
gonna say
fucking
that with my hand on my heart.
religiously wrong on that.
I don't know that we
Religiously
can
wrong.
get into the nuances of this debate, because I don't want anyone to lose friends over here. But I think the pretzel bread, like, look, I don't go to Pizza Hut for like exotic combinations. I go to Pizza Hut for like the standard consistency, right? Because like
Brandon, you're pizza, breadsticks, maybe a drink, and then you're done, right? That's you.
I'm looking. I know my order at Pizza Hut because I get the same thing every time. Like I'll get a like Supreme
Sounds
style
boring.
pizza. No, it's not a boring pizza. It's just like it's consistent. I'm not going with like some crazy chicken or new bread or whatever. I'm doing the same pan pizza that they've made for 20 years. You know why? Because like Pizza Hut, the quality on that is the same as it was 20 years ago, right? They've been making that forever. So I'm not worried about like whether I'm going to like it or not. But I don't know about this pretzel bread and chicken and other things that make me question whether Pizza Hut is going to have that formula down the way that I expect from them.
Yeah. I probably won't get it again, but it was not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Anytime. I'm not a big, fast food pizza place guy, but when I do order from Pizza Hut, it's always that pizza with the garlic knots. I think that's.
You've expressed your love for garlic knots.
Oh, it's so fucking good, dude! It's good. It is really, really good. But I'm more of I'm more of like a mom and pop. Like obviously, I live in the city, so I'm like more of a mom and pop's pizza shop kind of guy.
Ooh.
So it's like I'll go to I'll just run down to my local joint, get a slice. We'll be good. I'll kiss your mother, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Kiss you, mother. There's this great place, and I think there are only 2 locations in like ever. It's called Napoli's. It's an Indiana place. Fucking delicious. Give you slices of pizza. Great place. That's probably my go-to local place.
Brandon's like in the middle of where you're probably in a good area for pizza though, right, Brandon? You got some good stuff out there, right? Like good food wise.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of good food in the Bay Area. I don't know that our pizza out here is anything real special. It's not. I mean, it's not like it doesn't have a reputation like Chicago or New York or anything like that. But honestly, I haven't tried much of the pizza out here. If I'm getting pizza, it's normally just because we want something easy and consistent. So it'll be like Papa John's or something.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what tastes great? The sweet and tartness of pineapple melt.
Suck
the taste of your pizza.
Fucking dick.
And you bite the pineapple down.
Honestly,
flavor explodes.
I would really advise you not to come to land because I'm gonna hurt you.
Life is too short to get passionate about pineapple on pizza.
Life is too short to eat pineapple on pizza because you'll probably die because it's disgusting.
Wow.
We'll have to explore this some more.
We diverted a little bit from the original question. I actually don't know that I have a worst condiment. When I think about worst condiment, like I think about pretty esoteric stuff. Like I'm thinking about like fish sauce or something that's not, I don't know, that you don't really put on many things.
Fish sauce.
That's what I mean. I honestly, there's not a condiment I can think of offhand that I universally don't like. I'm not a huge fan of, say, yellow mustard, but I like a lot of mustards. I like honey mustard. I like maybe a sharp Dijon mustard with ham. I just don't love yellow mustard, the actual, the boring thing in a tube.
We'll just say it's your worst then you're good.
I mean, I guess if I had to choose, like, I guess I'd probably say yellow mustard. But I don't mean mustard. I mean actually just normal, boring yellow mustard.
You're talking about ballpark.
I'm talking ballpark
squeezed
mustard.
tube. Yeah, ballpark mustard. That's the best way to do it. and that's fine. And I respect that because most of the time, I think the yellow mustard is a little bit too it's overpowering to the food itself. It does not complement very well.
Exactly. It doesn't add a whole lot for the taste. Like you end up tasting mustard, and I don't love the taste of that mustard. So I mean, that's I don't know. Worst condiment to happen to food would be stronger than I feel, but I'm trying to answer the question as reasonably as I can. Yeah,
that's fine. I think it's them to ketchup, like just plain ketchup, not like the spicy ketchup or whatever, or the really nice ketchup that's in a little glass tube type of thing, a glass jar. Them two condiments together, the yellow mustard.
That Heinz ketchup comes in a glass, like a glass jar. Or a glass
but
tube,
doesn't
right?
There's a difference between them two. I think one is like
it's
like one is a
Heinz
prepared
ketchup.
No, I got the plastic one. I got a big ass jug thing. I don't know. I don't have it in here because that'd be gross. But it's like a big ass
ketchup
jug.
is the same in a glass, like a glass version and a plastic version.
I don't think. I think it's definitely gourmet-esque. If you're eating anything out of glass, it's definitely gourmet and it's been preparated fairly well. You show me how it's made, and then I'll back down my argument. But I think them two things
marketing
are
departments love you.
I think them two things like ketchup, like plastic bottle ketchup and the yellow mustard, are literally meant to cover up gross food, or not not to complement the food, but literally a sweeter or saltier taste.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's one of the reasons they're so universal too, though, because like they can sort of change.
They work on a lot different things.
Yeah, they work
like
on a lot of different types of flavors.
I'm a weirdo from a lot of people because now you're gonna hate me and think I'm crazy, but Doritos, cheese nacho flavored Doritos, and A1 sauce, it's a lovely combination. Okay. It complements each other so well because it's a salty but sweet at the same time, and it's really good. Try it, and if you don't like it, I will.
I wouldn't immediately throw you out for that. I could see how that could be good. I don't really keep A1 sauce around, but
no, you have steak all the time.
No, but I have barbecue sauce, but not A1 specifically. Like that's a pretty specific flavor.
I eat a lot of meat, so I have A1 sauce like by the fucking pounds. So,
okay, yeah,
it's a weird ass combo, and I get a lot of shit for it. But try it once, you'll never eat a nacho flavored Dorito without A1 sauce next to you. Okay. I'm telling you that right now. If you try it, tweet me, tell me I'm crazy. That's it.
Dude, next time both of you go to Kroger or Marsh, look at the condiments.
Never.
And you need to. Where do you go?
For what?
Different places have different grocery chains. It just means your grocery store.
Oh, he means grocery store? Just say grocery store.
Okay, go to I don't know. What are you trying to tell me?
I like how I'm the weirdo that didn't know Kroger's are Marshalls or whatever you said.
Kroger isn't a large chain.
It's not a large chain. Hey, Walmart. Okay. Walmart. Hey, Walmart. Walmart's a large chain. Kroger said. I thought you were talking about a Muppet.
No. Okay. Listen. Next time you go to your grocery store.
That's all. That's difficult.
Thank you. All right. Oh my God. Go to the condiments. And you need to find the honey mustard ranch. Saved my life.
Honey mustard ranch?
I don't know about all that.
Some bizarre mix, and it works. Just put it on some salad. It's delicious.
Okay. I like both of those things, so I won't disparage it before I try it, but I'm not sure that I would think of mixing the two.
It worked out pretty well. I'll be a spokesperson for it.
Okay.
Honey mustard flavored ranch.
I could see that. I could see like putting them both on salad or something. Like those tastes would probably go together.
Oh yeah, and some French fries, some potato wedges. Oh my God.
Okay, I'm sorry. There's a Kroger's in New Jersey. It's not Philly.
It's more.
All dropped. Mic drop.
All right, we're gonna move on until we, so that we don't get in a fist fight here.
It wouldn't be a fight. It would be a slaughter on my part.
Well, we'll see. Wow. Next question comes from Lewis via email. Thank you, POF33, by the way, for your question. That was Food always gets us riled up. Next question comes from Lewis via email. He writes us a little preamble here. Greetings from the Midwest to all of you. I've been a fan of the podcast since hearing John talk about it back in the YouTube glory days. You have provided countless hours of laughs and entertainment through both school and long hours at work for years now, and I can't thank you all enough for it. When I first started listening to this cast, I was a strapping young lad who had the luxury of a generous mother who allowed me to live at home for no expense past high school. I have since moved out on my own and learned to appreciate the value of a dollar. I personally don't have a ton of expendable income and find myself being very skeptical and cautious when buying games. Therefore, my question for you gentlemen is, what defines the value of a game to you? Is it as simple as being fun? Is it how much time you are able to get out of the game? Or is it something completely different altogether? Thank you again for all the laughs and memes over the years. Sincerely, Lewis.
Lewis, this is one of the best questions
I think it is a good question.
we've ever gotten. And I'd like to thank you personally for that.
Good job, bro.
What a goddamn great question. This is so like this is so relevant to me right now because I'm thinking about Drakengard 3, you know. Like what is the takeaway?
You've been thinking about it the entire cast.
Yeah, but I have dreams every night about the final boss. No, but like we talked about earlier, you know, what do you value for that? I think it depends on really. You know what? Someone else go. I'll gather my thoughts, and I'll try not to.
I want to hear from Hardballer because I feel like Hardballer spends a lot of money on like different games, and he spent a bunch of money on Star Citizen. So I feel like Hardballer has a unique idea around like what makes what defines value of a game to him.
Okay, so when I see a game that I enjoy or like even look at, I used to be a huge supporter of like early access games and stuff like that, because I always thought it was, maybe this game is going to be the next big game, or maybe trying to get ahead of the curve and a competitive scene wise. But then I've recently taken a step back from that, and it's more about the development of the game to me. And I look at when I'm making a big purchase for a game, like most of these games, obviously, it's $60 is not the ideal title for a game anymore. It's, that's the default game, but now it's like, now you got a season pass, now you get all this DLC in the next few months, when you got to prepare yourself for the future of this game. How long is it going to last, and what am I looking for in this game? How much time am I going to spend? My whole thing is, am I going to have fun in this game? Do the devs care about this game? Do the devs care enough about this game to keep it alive, even if there's problems with the game? Time for it. Like, my whole thing that broke my No Man's Sky hype train was the devs don't give a shit about it at this point in time. Like, I don't think there's any updates coming for it that I know of that are gonna fix the game, just add more content to the game. When that game needs to be fixed, that pisses me off when I see that shit. So when I look for a game and how I can tell if I'm gonna spend the money, like, it's all about the time I'm gonna put into it, and if I'm not gonna be the only one caring about this game lifespan kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I think my philosophy has actually come to be something kind of similar to that, in that I want to spend. So there's sort of two categories in which I will purchase games or like really consider buying games, and the first one is if it's like a great single player game, and it doesn't have to be long. For me, it's not the amount of time I get out of it. It's sort of a combination of the price point and the, whether people say it's a great experience. So like say, for instance, Resident Evil 7. A lot of people have said that game's really good. And it's like, okay, but is it $60 good for me? Like, is that going to be so impactful to me that it's worth $60? And a lot of times for single player games, for me, the answer is no, because I don't care about playing them right when they're fresh and new. And so I'm willing to wait on that experience. Like the single player game is going to be just as good a year from now as it is today. So I'm usually willing to wait on single player games, and then I buy them for a value that I know is going to be good. Like Resident Evil 7 for like $20 or $30 is clearly like going to be a great value, I think, in that example. But for multiplayer games, my part of this probably comes from the fact that I spent a long time playing Tribes Ascend, which is a great example of a game that like I spent a ton of time playing and getting good at, and I really enjoyed that game, and I don't regret my time spent with that game. However, like no one is playing it now. The game is basically completely dead for all intents and purposes. And so the money that I spent in that game, like the skills that I got, the money that I spent is worth nothing now. Like I can't enjoy that game anymore. So when I'm looking for multiplayer games to invest my time in, I want a game that's going to have a player base and a lifespan. And I think more and more that's what other people are looking for, from what I can tell. Like when you were talking about Rainbow Six Siege, that's one of the things that makes me maybe want to get into that, because when I can see that that game's actually going to be supported for a while, it makes me want to invest time in it. And I've mentioned this, I think, on a previous cast that like I've spent money on League of Legends, and I don't really play League of Legends right now, but I don't like that's fine because I still have the skins, I still have the money sitting in my account. If I decide to come back to League of Legends, I'll be able to use that skill, that currency that I've acquired, all of that. And League of Legends is going to be around for a really long time. So I feel a lot more comfortable spending my money on a game like that I know is going to be well supported, and I'm a little more hesitant to spend money on games that are unproven. And that's kind of like that's sort of the philosophy that I follow these days.
I 100% agree with you. My whole thing is just like, see, I don't spend any money, and obviously the person asking this question could be completely different than me. Most people are. I am 100% not a fan of single player games. I just don't get any enjoyment out of playing alone, more or less. And I don't have the mental capacity to understand complicated stories. I think it comes down to. So I'm more or less funny shots. My whole thing is like it's all about the player base. Like I know I make fun of a couple people because they like Titanfall 2, and I'm not gonna sit here and say Titanfall 2 is a bad game. I played it in the last beta and it happens, and it's probably great. It's probably still gonna get better. But do I see that game having a fan base? Maybe in the next one, but I don't see that game being anything that other than it is a sequel to make another game better. You know what I mean? The original game, like it's just an apology for the original game.
Yeah. AD, have you congealed your thoughts?
Yes. I think, and this answer isn't really like the end all be all for me, because I'll still play, like Rocket League, as far as value goes, $20 for infinite enjoyment out of that, as long as there are people playing. But the main thing when it comes to like how valuable a game is for me, I want something that someone has put thought into, and that someone has had a clear idea of something they want to bring to life, and something like, for example, you've got Bloodborne. That game is just a pure artistic vision that someone had, like perfectly put into a game. And another example is like Soma. It's an excellent story that's been like so fully realized, even if the game itself is pretty lackluster. I mean, when it comes at the end of the day, for me, I want to be told a story. I want to know what's been going on in someone else's head. I want to know what someone else was thinking, because like all of these games are ideas that someone else has had, and I just want to, and that's like, that is very valuable to me. So things like Bloodborne, where it's absolute insanity that someone's come up with all this, for example, is that's like my main. And the same thing, with Drakengard 3. Like no other game has made my heart beat as fast as when I get 6 minutes into that final boss song and I'm struggling to focus as hard as I can on the music. Like that's what I live for, when it's like the idea of putting someone through that, or like giving someone an experience. That's where the value comes from to me. It's like the experience of a game basically is most important to me.
Yeah, that sounds exactly like what I thought you would say here. Is I feel like you find value in a lot of different places, and sometimes you take. I feel like sometimes you take risks that I wouldn't take when trying a game or something, but you sometimes find those gems that you would only find if you give certain games a shot. And I'm a little more conservative when it comes to trying games like that.
My whole thing is like, if I find a game that I'm gonna like and enjoy, I'm one of them people that will full-heartedly invest into that game. Like, I have a bit of a problem there. Like CS:GO, I've spent too much money in, and like Rainbow Six, I'm getting to that point where it's like I'm looking at skins in the game, and I'm like, $30 isn't that bad for all these skins I get. You know what I mean? I'm playing. I think I've done I put like 60 hours in the Rainbow Six now, and I'm getting to that point where it's like, I could see myself spending a few bucks on some costumes, because they have costumes in the game, where it's like, you gotta get to that point of where you like the game, and that you think the game's gonna last, kind of thing. Like, oh god, the Diablo auction house almost killed me.
Oh no,
that place, that was not a fun time. I was a very miserable person back then.
I think actually, as I read the question again, he asks, "Is it how much time you are able to get out of the game?" And the way I read that at first is,
I don't think
like, do you value a game that's 12 hours more than a game that's 8 hours? And my answer to that would be no. But actually, another way you could read this question is like, yes, I value how much time in years I'm able to get out of the game. Like, I value how much time in real time, like years, that I will be able to get out of that game and come back to it later on. So the value that I get out of a game like, say, Rocket League or League of Legends or Counter-Strike is going to be so much higher, because I know that whatever time I put into those games will still be around in several years. And so if I spend money on them, if I buy skins or if I do whatever, like, I'm going to be able to make that money go a really long way because of the game's longevity. So it's interesting. I read it a different way when I first answered. But actually, it sort of is how long I'm able to get out of the game, just not like in terms of hours, but in terms of the time that game will be relevant.
But I think that game that statement only applies to a multiplayer game, though. Really, can't you say that?
Yeah, no, that's true.
Because
that's true.
A single player game, maybe yes, there's DLC to it, but I can't stand, and I'm probably being very pessimistic here, but if a company makes a single player game without a multiplayer, and charges a full price game for it, I think that's very annoying to me. And I know it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and people need to get paid to build these games. But if it's to that point where you're charging $60, like games that just come out with a single player and that's it, like The Witchers and stuff like that. Yes, it's a great game, but am I gonna play this game for years ahead of the time to, or even get that money back, like by playing the game before the DLC comes out, or is this game just going to end here, like after a 12-hour play? Witcher, I don't think that's a good example, because that's a good game with a long story, but you know what I mean, like certain games I think price themselves it's definitely too different high on the chain.
for single player versus multiplayer, because I think the value proposition of those is so different. Like single player, you can define it a lot more clearly by something like, how long is this campaign? How long will I actually get to spend before I run out of content? Whereas multiplayer is a lot more nebulous, because it's more around how much community is there, how long does the game last, how long does that player base stick around?
Yeah.
So it's a lot. I feel like it's a lot harder to answer the value of a multiplayer game, because it's going to be so different for everyone.
There's multiple can affect a multiplayer game that can affect a single player game. Like, I think Dark Souls, and as you said, Katie, the Bloodborne series are literally the best type of style, and I think even The Witcher does it the same way. Best style of single player games, where every playthrough of the game you can do something different that you didn't do the last playthrough. Yes. Which I think some of them single players games that are coming out now are kind of adapting. Like Doom has a harder difficulty, which changes the levels, which changes, the way you're supposed to go about the game, where most games are just still a linear path following a story, and that's it. That's where it ends. You know what I mean? and then you got to wait until the DLC to come out. And I think that's what turns me off of a lot of single player games. Is because I'm gonna play this story once, and I'm gonna wait for the DLC to come out. That's all I'm gonna get out of this game, and I'm spending $60 for that when I could buy, the next multiplayer game that comes out, or skins in a multiplayer game that I know I'm gonna be invested in years in, probably. Like CS:GO, I've played for 4 years now, almost.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was a $15 investment. You know what I'm saying? And that's what pisses me off about the Call of Duties that come out each year. Is a $60 investment for a game that comes out every year, and it pisses me the fuck off.
DLC. Yeah, not even the DLC. Like I see, Call of Duties are still getting 4 packs of DLC annually.
Yeah,
and that shit does not get played.
No,
like
I honestly most of the DLC from all the Call of Duty games are bad anyway. Like the base games are far better.
And then there are a couple packs in Black Ops 3 that had some really good maps, but it's such a shame because none of those are going to see, prime time,
because they limit themselves though. They limit themselves because they limit themselves behind a paywall, which is really fucking frustrating to an extent of a multiplayer shooter where you should give the players the maps, but maybe restrict them on something else, like not game breaking like that, where you're either in a full DLC lobby or you can't play it because someone's missing the fucking DLC.
Yeah.
Like that's what pisses me off about them games. It's not the games are bad themselves. That's a whole different topic to talk about. It's Call of Duty to print money at this point, not a lifespan situation. Like I'm pretty sure they hate the original. They hate how Call of Duty 4 is now, because people still play that.
They added fucking supply drop weapons to Call of Duty 4. There's like an automatic shotgun now.
I think it's a very frustrating thing, and I don't like the way these big name titles, and it's really fucking annoying because even though Call of Duty did bad this year, it still made a fuck ton of money, and it's going to make it more fuck ton of money. And I really hope that this next Call of Duty, and I'm not going to buy it, I'm not going to pre-order. I didn't pre-order the last one because I knew it was going to be a train wreck, and I knew it was going to be a train wreck because of how the devs were acting about the add-on of the remake of the original Modern Warfare. I knew how they were acting about that game because they wouldn't sell them games separately. They wanted you to buy their new title.
There's no confidence in
there was no confidence. That was 100% a blatant hey, this game's gonna suck, but you want our better one, and that one even sucked. You're spitting in the face of your community. Honestly, you've fallen so far down the fucking game deving ladder that you are just insane anymore. Honestly, if all these studios just stopped doing this yearly release shit and made a very good game, that's it. You're done. You've made a good game. That's what you set out to do in the beginning. But they won't do that because the power of money talks.
And let's say, they make a base Call of Duty game that's really good. That shit is going to last purely 2-3 months tops. For the past 3-4 Call of Duties, it's been ruined with microtransactions. Every single time they say it's going to be just cosmetic. Like Black Ops 3, that game started, there were no, I'm pretty sure there were no supply drops. It was some Call of Duty that had no supply drops, then they added those in, then, it's just cosmetic. Then they added weapons. And they do that for every single game. And they're just going to repeat that cycle where it's going to be a selling point where it's this new Call of Duty, they have supply drops, but it's all cosmetic, dude. They continually cuck their players,
and we can scream into our faces they're blue, but it will never change until the consumer itself changes. These devs won't wake up and change. But we're gonna still have a Call of Duty each year. We're still I'm only leaving it to the Call of Duties. The Assassin's Creed is in the same fucking boat because aren't their games always fucking broken on launch? I'm pretty sure that the last one, there's bug videos out the same day of release. The game's going to launch with bugs. That's fine. But these are legendary bugs. These are in all your fucking games. There's something wrong with your engine. Fix it. Take a time off and fix it.
I think there's one thing we can all agree upon, which is that different people define the value of a game in different ways.
Yes.
As you've indicated, some people out there find value in buying Call of Duty every year and buying Assassin's Creed.
Wake up, sheeple.
So we'll see. I think people's values will change over time, though, and I think we're kind of seeing that now with, like you mentioned, Call of Duty. Like the sales were down this year. I think people's value does change over time, and they're maybe looking to get something different out of the games they purchase. So
I do think this year has woken a lot of people up to that annual kind of game style, and maybe it's hit the devs. Like the devs obviously seen something this year with the big hype over Battlefield 1. Like I think the newest Call of Duty is actually going back to the roots of like
we talked about that on last cast or the one before.
Yeah, so I think most of these devs are actually seeing that times are changing, and maybe this old way of doing things isn't going to work out in the next 10 years. Yeah. But we'll see. It's all waiting game at this point.
Well, thank you very much for that question, Lewis.
Thanks, Lewis.
Excellent question. Also appreciate the kind words. Thank you for being a long-time listener. And if you have questions for us, like I mentioned before, you can tweet us when we call out on Sundays, or you can shoot us an email at community@kbmod.com. But now we're going to head into the final section here, our iTunes podcast review of the week. And before we get into it, you might be wondering, iTunes podcast review of the week, that sounds interesting. How can I be featured in a section like this? And the answer is, it's very easy. Hardballer, do you know how to get featured in this section?
You just got to go to the iTunes page and leave a comment and rate them 5 stars.
Right? That sounds pretty easy to me.
I could do it.
Yeah.
I mean, navigating iTunes maybe not super easy, but if you already have iTunes, just like give it a try, right? Give it a try one time for us. All you have to do is go write us a review, leave us 5 stars because that is the rating we deserve, and then share something with us. We've had poems, we've had scathing opinions about this cast and how wrong we are, and all of that is completely fair game. The only thing we care about is that 5-star rating. So last week, I'm not going to read this. I'm just going to tease that we had a Morse code review from last week, and someone
love to read it.
Some brave soul went and translated it for us, and it is quite enlightening. But I'm going to save it, and I'm going to ask you can come join our Discord and come hang out, and we will share it with you there. So that's a nice little. We're holding that one back to get you to engage. As the kids say, looking for that engagement. But so we did. That was a pretty good review, as it turns out. But we have a new review this week, so thank you for that. This review actually is very, very near and dear to my heart. The title is called "Brandon is Right." A good title. It's by Cat Fondler 69. That's of course, Cat Fondler, the first 68 I'm not quite as fond of, but the 69th one I'm a fan. And the body of this review here is pretty simple. He says, Brandon is right. Bowling hurts after 2 games. So there you go. And I mean, I'm glad that someone else can confirm that bowling does hurt after 2 games, and that I'm not crazy here. That my thumb can only take about 2 games of bowling before I got to give it up. So, Hardballer, do you bowl at all?
I used to, but not anymore. It kind of bores the fuck out of me.
He's not hard bowler.
I do just now. All I do is I just do X arm.
Okay.
It's basically you get your arms tied together with a man of equal strength, and then you fight like MMA style, but you also have to win an arm wrestling competition.
How on earth does that relate to bowling?
I don't know. I think it's just a better sport.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I liked Katie Zen's little joke about hard bowler better.
Yeah, I know. I heard it. Yeah. I just wanted to skip past it.
Well, thank you for that review, Cat Fondler 69.
Oh shit! I didn't even hear his name. Fucking hell.
Like I mentioned, if you want to leave us a review, we might feature your review in a future episode of the podcast. So please do go and leave us a review on iTunes. And maybe we'll engage with you here on the cast.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid this engagement is over. Episode 266 in the books. Thank you, Hardballer, for joining us.
No problem. Anytime. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katie Zen, as always, for trying guacamole and generally offering good opinions outside of your specific guacamole preference. And thank you for you, the viewer, for coming and joining us. If you're here live, I'll do some quick plugs. We do this podcast live every week on our Twitch channel. That's twitch.tv/KBMOD. So if you're not following the channel, go follow. We do some other content too, but the podcast is live every single week on the Twitch channel. Obviously, check out the website, kbmod.com. We post the audio version of the podcast every week on there, as well as a lot of other content. You can follow us on Twitter at KBMOD Gaming is our account there. We've got a Facebook page, facebook.com/KBMOD. And like I mentioned, we have a Discord where you can come and hang out with like-minded folks and play some games together and hang out and meme a little bit perhaps. So check out our Discord. I think kbmod.com/Discord will take you there. And you can follow all of us on Twitter. KD is at KDZen18 because the first 17 were already taken. That's at KDZen18. I believe Hardballer is at Hardballer25.
Yeah.
Yeah, because so not 1 through 24. That he's the 25th Hardballer.
No, I'm the 25th.
At Hardballer25.
That's 24.
And I am at Volition. That's VOL1, the numeral 1, VION.
You're number one. There's no pun for you about the previous.
He was number one.
I was so early that I put it in the middle instead of at the end.
Damn.
Ooh.
So think about that
one. Put
one.
a 0 for the O also.
Yeah. See that? Well, that would have been forward thinking, wouldn't it? But at the time, I didn't give it enough thought. Clearly. But thank you, gentlemen, for joining us, and we will see you next time. Same time, same place for episode 267.
Holy shit.
Until then, farewell.
Hey guys, what's up? Brandon here. And I didn't have a video for you last weekend because I was out of town, but hopefully this one will make up for it because the Tribes Ascend closed beta has officially started, and this is some fresh, delicious footage from one of the matches that I played this weekend